Ford Video Guy Studio in Salina, Kansas, it's McArthur Live with Tim Bartz and Sarah Davis. For all the information on ordering and production, Ford news, recalls, debunking all the fake news on social media, and whatever's on their mind, here's your hosts, Tim and Sarah. Welcome in episode 187 here on McArthur Livestream and Ford Video Guy podcast. Yes, we are recording this as a podcast, so you can listen to it on your favorite streaming platform. And along with your podcast. Do you have an episode this week coming up? Next week. Last week's was Laura, so you got to go check it out. Laura actually is
she's trying to beat Kelly.
She's trying to beat Kelly. So yeah, definitely go over and give that a watch. I watched almost all of it, and then something came up, and so I paused it. But yeah, so it's pretty good. So anyway, so check her out. And Laura is real big in the Bronco community, so we see her at a lot of events and everything. And she's always joining us here as well on our live stream, as well as Dave and Kelly's. So yes, it's fun. Are they all competing against each other? You got to look back and see how Allie's did and Laura's and Kelly's.
But Allie's was what, my first one? No, third.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway. All right. So, so we're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to, I don't know about how fun it'll be, but we will talk about tariffs. So if you're in here, I got a feeling we're going to get some people that are fairly new to this because they're seeing the video title and they want to see what else is going on. And it's a hot topic right now. And so what I'm trying to do is every week, try to, whatever's kind of in the news right now. And, I don't know if you can get any more in the news than this. I mean, you guys know me. If you've watched the podcast for a while, I've bypassed talking about this topic until Ford had a response, and Ford did give the dealers a response recently. And I didn't get that response. I heard it from the GM here, just some of the things that he told me. And so kind of relay that and talk about that. But we'll talk about, just kind of examining things and looking at things. And we're going to look at some of the factories that make the different vehicles and such, and as well as parts, transmissions and such, and how they're going to be affected and what's going on, because that's coming up here in just a couple days. So we'll talk about that. And if you're new to the channel, you haven't watched any of our videos before, you're going to be wondering why it's not talking about it right away. This is a live stream. It's a podcast. So we're going to chat. We're going to talk to each other, talk to the live chat as well. And so about this, we'll get through in some other things, scheduling notes and information for those that have an order out, some dealer news updates as well, and some order guide updates and recalls, a couple recalls. And then we'll get into the topic of the night. So if you're watching this and you're joining us after we've gone live, hit that little live button and you'll catch up with us. But probably about the top of the hour, I'm talking 8 o'clock Central, is probably about the timeline. Somewhere around there is probably when we'll get to the topic. So just so you're watching now, if you're watching it recorded, check out the timestamps because I'll have those down there as well. So there you go. Hello, is this Pizza Hut? Anyway, we got a great chat, and if you're new, you're gonna love our live stream, our chat. They're just awesome people and everything. And so make sure you're subscribed, bell notification turn on if you want all the information about Ford vehicles, and really enjoying this. Yesterday, we did do a video on the Maverick, and there's a lot of questions that we've had from different videos that we've done over the last 63 episodes of that. And we've had people ask questions. Hey, you went over this video, but hey, could you answer this question for me? And a lot of times I might just answer in the chat, but I accumulated some of those and answered some of those in yesterday's video, and as well as kind of talk about some things because people ask, well, what do all these icons mean? And what do these buttons mean? And so I kind of went over that. And yes, you can find some of that in your owner's manual, but
now, my question is, did they actually lose any of the functions?
No, like
in the Excel?
No. You mean, what are you talking about?
So we had talked about how someone had called and said that the recall was done on their XL Maverick. And after the recall was done, they no longer had some of their menu items.
Well, I think it was the tire pressure, and I showed where to get tire pressure. So
okay.
It's in the productivity screen. So we kind of talked, I mentioned that. Now, on some of the people that have Sync 3 in their 22 to 24, it's in their center stack screen. So, but I think the XL and XLTs is not located there. But anyway,
Okay.
so but yeah, so that's a good video. Tomorrow we're gonna be doing a walk around on the Bronco Sport Badlands that one of our members is purchasing. So I'm going to do a walk around on that with the Sasquatch package. We're going to talk about that. And Dave and Kelly's driving today. I think they drove a Bronco Sport with the Sasquatch package, Outer Banks. Anyway, so I'm sure that was fun for them. And next week we'll be doing a Lobo test drive. I have driven the Lobo. I did drive it the other day on Monday. Just didn't feel like comfortable enough to doing the video, so we'll do it justice, and that'll go live next week. And anyway, having some fun with these videos and Super Duty Saturdays as well. So lots of great content, and we did scheduling video earlier. So if you did check that out. It was a little longer because this is next week is the first week with new allocations for those June productions. So that is kind of a forecast of what's going to happen in June. So anyway, so yeah, we'll get into all that in just a little bit. Other than that, what did your weekend entail?
We've relaxed. We've been doing so many outdoor things, getting the yard prep for the chickens, getting that coop up, doing this and that. So we took a weekend to relax because it was cold out and we didn't feel like going outside. We
had your oldest and Jolie's oldest at our house. I did church service. So I was up at like 6 a.m. And so I'm always tired because I normally don't get up that early during the week. Right. Anyway, and so I actually like took a nap, and they were like, let's put up the ping pong table. They want to we got this ping pong table and they want to put up. It's supposed to go downstairs. And I'm like, well, you know what? Let me see if I can put it up. I think it folds up and I'll see. And it took a little longer to put up than we thought. So they didn't get a chance to play it the other day, but now it is up. And so, yeah. So that's what I did on Sunday.
Well, and then Saturday we went to the zoo.
Yes, you guys went to the zoo.
At the zoo. I walked 2 miles, pulling a wagon. Sometimes with Theo, sometimes with.
Was that the one over here?
Yeah, sometimes with a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old.
We have one, Rolling Hills Wildlife Refuge, not too far from Salina. So those that you come to the meetup. Zoo. We'll talk about the meetup too, because we have that's live, and we actually have some hotel. Some different hotel block of rooms. We got the cheapest rates in this area. Yeah. And so we got some block of rooms for people as well, and the best rates we could do, and even a link for you to get to those if you're coming. And I know there's a lot of people on Maverick Truck Club that have already said they're coming. 13 now. So
we are at 13 on Maverick Truck Club, and I'm keeping track. I feel like we're at 15 total right now, because I know I've been talking to a few people on here.
So those of you don't know, we do a Maverick meetup. This is our 4th annual. People that want to bring their Mavericks in, and it is going to be July 25th, 26th, right? This event?
Yes.
So the 26th is like the show and shine. That's the Saturday where we have Cars and Coffee. It's going to be like Cars and Coffee, but it's not. So we need to probably update that one thing because the Cars and Coffee is actually the next week. This is going to be just for Mavericks. So we'll get a part of the lot opened up for all the Mavericks and are coming and everything, and have some fun.
Yeah.
So we'll go back to Maverick meetup. Last year we did more of a YouTube meetup, and so this year we're going to make it a Maverick meetup and hopefully get more people here. Yeah. And it sounds like we're going to have a bigger attendance than last year. So hopefully which it'll be a lot of fun. But we're also doing along with the lead sled. So there's a lot of other cool cars that'll be in town as well. So you can cruise around town, come in on that Friday. We're going to do a drive on the Friday like we did last year, different parks and everything, and have a lunch. We'll get numbers when we get closer and everything. So we'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun.
If you would like to get put on an emailing list, since if you don't have Maverick Truck Club for updates or anything like that and would like to be put on an emailing list, go ahead and send it to me on my email.
You'll put that in the chat. And those that even watch the recorded version of this, you'll be able to, if you swipe over, swipe the comments over, you can see the live chat, and you should be able to see that email address. So Sarah Davis at McArthur. There you go. It's on the screen even. There you go. Even better. Yeah.
And as we get closer, I will make a Google form to fill out so that way we can get an accurate count for those coming.
There you go. All right. A couple things before we get into it. Don't forget, we do have I have merch. I actually have one of my my favorite actual pullover, half quarter zip.
Yes.
Available on our merch site, our Ford Video Guy merch. If you want that, it's lawmacarthur.myspreadshop.com. It's the link is in the description or the show notes. Or if you want our Law McArthur merch, we have that in there as well, available for you. So you can check the link out for it, because I don't have that one memorized. So you can check that out if you want. And right now, going on today and tomorrow, 10% off if you get 3 or more items. But starting on the 3rd through the 7th, it's 20% off everything, even on just one item. That's might be a better deal. So wait a couple days. So anyway, and those are rotating. Those offers are rotating back and forth all month long. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. We also like to talk about membership. We do have membership available on our YouTube channel. So Sarah, you want to talk about that?
If you'd like to become a member, it is right there beside the subscribe button. It's join. Once you click it, you'll see all the benefits you get as a member. If you're an iPhone user, you have to do things differently. Web browser, go up to the link, click the little A, big A, request desktop browser, and you should be able to see it at that point.
Yep. And you can find all of our membership information under the membership. You also should get notified if you have notifications set up. If you have that bell notification turned on, you'll get notifications too when we do get membership content. And we do a lot walk where I talk about a couple different things that are on my mind as well in our lot walk. A lot of the members are really enjoying those. We do that every Thursday, and then on every Friday at 4 p.m. almost every Friday, if we're here, we'll do a member live where we just chat with you guys. So just different things come up, topics. I usually try to have some things to talk about, but yet it just kind of goes from there, and the members just bring things in, and we just talk about all kinds of fun stuff. So and we also get to on our live stream on Tuesday nights get your name highlighted, and we'll shout out.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and do that.
So I have to get this one up there. I like Tim's rants. I was a tongue twister. Ragnarcon says we like to talk about food. Yep. In our chats on Tuesday nights when he's doing his thing, we got food going on here.
Yep.
We got S. Waltz.
Hold on. We also talk about this.
What? Oh, yes. What's in Tim's cup?
We'll also try to figure out what's in Tim's cup tonight. So go ahead and throw those guesses in there too.
We have S. Waltz saying, let's go LM fam. Brandon Jones hit 2 years. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Some of you I keep tabs on the memberships, or I can remember when you became a member because it was during a live stream or it was with some event of some sort. So I can remember when some of you joined specifically. We have Timothy Clemens, and he was first.
There you go.
First comment. We have Rob. Good evening. And Bucko. Alan says he has a VFW meeting tonight. Let's see. Mike M. Hello, Tim, Sarah, Ridgeview. All 40 months in. Just got through a lot of putting practice at the golf course. Ready for the live cast and chat. 40 months.
Looking forward to it. Won't be very much longer, and we'll see him down in Tennessee.
Yes. Now, and he had a comment earlier.
It's only a couple weeks away. I got to get my taxes in first, but then after that.
Right. If you are coming to Salina, Mike M found something that I didn't even know about. Bison. We do have a place around here where you can go and do a drive and see bison.
Yeah, up there.
I need to go do that.
You know that?
I didn't know until he told us.
Yep. Mattfield Green, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
There.
So, all right, back on track. Map Sim, evening people, much more. How much more will your Maverick cost? If you watch Maverick Monday video, you would already know. Let's see. We have Brian. I hope you and everyone else are doing fantastic. Good evening. How are you doing? We are well. Buck, yeah. Hey, gang. We have Ford enthusiasts. Happy Tuesday. Did we get you figured out? Or have you figured out if you're coming down or having it shipped? That's the question right now. We have our Quib, Rowdy. I thought that said Rowdy. Howdy, y'all. We We have JG Mav. Good evening, fellow Mavs. Alan's been a member for 39 months. Oh, and yes, I will have a link, but I think Alan was able to contact the hotel directly and say that he was with the McArthur group. And they were able to get him booked with that rate, even though we don't have a specific link yet. So,
All right.
you can call and ask for the McArthur grouping, or I will have a link to share later.
The Courtyard by Marriott, close to the dealership here.
Yes, I should have said that. It's the Courtyard.
Yeah.
Salina
I've actually
Courtyard.
we did a little conference or little like meeting there before. Very
Yeah,
nice.
it's actually really nice. And I think they renovated recently. I think. I'm not sure. We have Douglas, Hot Time, and Old Town tonight. Douglas Blair, 3 Ford models will be affected per the feds. Ragnar Khan asking if this is Pizza Hut. No. I think someone replied with burgers. That's what we're having here tonight. Hello, everyone. Happy spring of deception to be followed by third winter, the pollinating, and the actual spring.
Yeah.
I'm Brian Foster's driving home, so he won't be chatting too much. And then, all right. And then Steve Granger says, Salina campgrounds. We do have campgrounds.
There's a KOA not too far from here.
Yeah.
On the other side, on the north side of town, there's a KOA over
But
there.
it's super easy to hop on the highway there, jet over and over on the highways.
Yep. So there's a KOA, and I think there's another place. What's off the highway over there on Iron? Or not? Is it? That's not
Santa
Iron.
Fe?
No.
Santa Fe.
Ohio, clear out there. Isn't there like campground out there too? Anyway, there's a couple.
Yes. By
What I usually do when I'm looking for a campground is I actually will get in my Google Maps and I'll put
there's
in
that
campgrounds.
church, right?
Yeah. I think there's a campground right there. I don't know.
There's a campground right there at the church with RV spots only. But then over on Santa Fe, go all the way down, and then if you take the side road, there's a KOA over there.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's a few around here.
There's a few around. There's one out there, but it's a dirt road to get to it.
Let's open one up right here
Right.
in this field. Get north and west on this.
All right.
All right. 3 weeks to Tennessee from Rob. And I think that was all. I think. Hopefully I grabbed everyone. Oh, Ridgeview. Ridgeview is our moderator. So if you see him in there, he likes to greet everyone and keep our chat from getting too rowdy. All right.
So what's in Tim's cup? We do have a C4. It's a 0 sugar, and this is the Jolly Rancher green apple kind. I actually got a bunch of different kinds at the grocery store, and I think I actually drank that kind last week.
Oh, yep. S. Walt said C4.
So it's kind of in my go-to right now because it's actually at Dillon's. It was like if you get more than so many, then it was like $2 a can instead of like $3 for Monsters.
Yeah.
So
we do have a first-time watcher tonight.
Yeah.
Welcome.
All right. Try not to disappoint. All right. While you're figuring out a good dealer to highlight, let me go through what mail we've got. So for those of you that are new, we do I do swaps with other Bronco owners. It does a lot of patches, and all my patch panels fell down, so they're not up on the back behind us right now. But this in here is actually one Sarah traded with, and they sent a second one for me, the Rainbow Bronco. So
I like theirs.
So that's their patch, and they sent the sticker as well. So Sarah, thank you for the swap. My apologies, it was too so tardy. Have fun in the dirt. So there you
I'm
go.
pretty sure that's the one from Vegas area, Nevada.
No,
somewhere in there.
Distance from Florida, Cape Coral.
Ooh.
Neptune Bronco. This one's kind of fun. Sometimes it's a lot easier if you can see it if it's not in the package. So I'll take it out. So this is just a patch, no sticker on this one here, but
I like that one.
That's pretty cool. So got that one, and we'll put these, of course, on our Instagram. I'll try not to take so long. Last time I think it was like almost a week before I put them up there. fact, I think I missed it 1 week and then added them. So this in here, don't know where it's from. This is from Chris. So these are Chris and I were talking about different patches and all, and these are patches that Chris made. So Chris, Buck, in there, he made these. So it's a sticker for some group. So he sent me the patches that he had made. These are nice quality here. So Moab, Utah, 2025. So that's the off-road group that he made stickers and patches for. So this is the sticker I think that this patch is made off of. So that's pretty cool. So those are nice stitching there. So those are some nice ones that he sent. We chatted about that when we were at Bronco Off Rodeo in Texas. So those are those. So he sent those. He was going to bring them over and then forgot he left them in his hotel room. Oops. All right. Then we have two more here. So this in here is from San Antonio, Texas. Might even saw them. Glitter car. That's what is the Instagram. So all these people are on Instagram. So they sent a couple stickers. So that's kind of cool. I always like when they give a kind of a theme to that. I hope my patches get here in time. The guy I'm getting them from, he says, "Don't worry, they'll be there in time." I'm like, I am a little concerned because if you think you can get it here in a week and it doesn't,
He thinks less than a week.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, so there's that, and then I got another sticker too. So Texas, so pretty cool, pretty cool. And then one last one. This one sent all kinds of stuff. So let's see here. This one is from Arizona. Be going to Arizona this summer. Been trying to plan for that trip. Got a little rainbow pony stuffy thing. So they didn't know if I was a Jeep or Bronco, evidently, because they sent a rubber ducky and the horse. So by the way, if you're trading with Bronco people, you put horses on the Broncos. We had somebody at that campsite was like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I'm like, "We put little horses." So when I left the campground, we left him one on his windshield. I also left hand sanitizer. Kind of cool. And then all kinds of stickers and patches. You've been bucked. So get it out of there. There we go. This is the Arizona one. I like the shapes. I don't know if I have Arizona yet.
Let me see that.
Trixie, the Bronco.
Oh, I like that. Alan will be in Arizona this month.
Yeah, we're going in June. Oh, the little keychain with the Bronco. And then another sticker. So we'll get all those posted on there. Yep. All right. I like swapping. It's like trading cards. Ooh, speaking of that, my trading cards are in. I'll have trading cards for my Bronco at Supercell in Tennessee.
You got one?
And I got all my stickers and everything else.
All right.
I have them with me. All right.
Okay. I'm ready.
Nope.
So I found something out, and it goes along with this good dealer moment. In Arizona, when you purchase, they charge you their sales tax, but then you'll also have to go back to your state and pay their sales tax if you purchase a vehicle from them but do not live there. Just talking to someone that's wanting to purchase a vehicle. Anyway, and he's in Arizona right now wintering, but has a home in another state. So he's like, "So are you going to charge me sales tax?" No. Nope, we don't charge out of state. Oh, well, Arizona does. Okay, so this is Oracle, Arizona, Oro Ford. Frank Martinez was a sales associate, and they said, "Great dealer, no add-ons, and sales tax is 2% less than Tucson."
Okay.
So there you go. If you are in the Tucson area but don't want to pay that extra 2%, go on over to Oro Ford in Oracle, Arizona.
There you go. So, by the way, sometimes some weeks people will ask about my watch. So, today I have my RTR watch on. So it's
You
ready
have an
to
RTR watch?
RTR, right? They got fast Mustangs and everything. And I will say that I really like this watch. The only downfall, the only thing I don't like about it is it always runs fast. Mustang's fast. Anyway. So,
By the way, do you use that joke book you got for Christmas?
I made that one up myself. Kind of proud of it. Just laugh along. It's just anyway. All right. We ready for scheduling information? Now we do a video separate for scheduling, so won't go into that in depth and everything for that. So if you watch that video earlier, then now's the time you can ask your questions about scheduling. Anything that you had, any questions for this week, or any questions for scheduling for next month, which is going to start happening. Well, technically it's in April, but it won't start till next week for those production dates in June. So I kind of went over that earlier, so won't go over those, but I have them here if I have need to refer to them. So a lot of the plants aren't scheduled this week for production because they've already scheduled out their month of May scheduling, and so they don't need to schedule anymore. There are some that still have some open slots, so they're still scheduling. So they need to fill that production up, but to do that, a dealer needs an allocation. So in many situations like Maverick, Bronco Sports, our Expeditions, Explorers, Escapes, we don't have any allocations. They are all used for those orders already. But then there are some models like F-150 Super Duty that they'll schedule multiple weeks. So we do have allocations available for that. And I think on F-150, we have like one Raptor R allocation needs to be used, one Raptor allocation, one Lightning allocation, and one regular gas allocation. So available. So that's kind of how that works. And I think we have 5 Super D allocations. Outside of that, I think pretty much it's been used. So this week is kind of like just filling out May so they can start moving towards those production dates in June for next week, which is when the new allocations will refresh. So all the dealers receive their allocation numbers this week and should be, solidifying those. So they're going to get, hey, here's what you've been offered. Here's what you earned, right? Based on your inventory and your sales volume for the last 12 months. So based on that, here's the allocations that you earned. Do you want all of them? Do you want more? So you can ask for supplements, or you don't have to take them all, right? So that all is going to happen with dealers this week. They have until Friday to get those booked in, and then scheduling should start next week for those June production dates. So with that in mind, some of the notes for that, Mustang, they are really trying to push EcoBoost. They're not getting a lot of orders for EcoBoost, and they can produce more. So they even have a EcoBoost discount package that's available. So they want to make sure the dealers know about a couple of those to try to get some more EcoBoost orders. We just don't sell the EcoBoost very well, so that's why we don't order those. Then we have on the Escape plugin, they are going to be scheduling this month. And they wanted to kind of let dealers know, especially if they order an Escape plug-in hybrid without the premium package, that's a $4,500 package. If they order it without it, then with the discounts and everything that are there, then you can actually purchase an Escape plug-in with a destination delivery and $1,000 discount pack and $5,000 rebate, and you can get it down to $33,800. That's what I'm talking about right there. A plug-in hybrid at $33,800. That is a deal because you can go in all electric mode around town and everything and still have hybrid and be able to hit gas stations on road trips. That is right. When you look at it, compare it to an Escape ST line front wheel drive hybrid, that's $32,900. So it's only like $900 more. That's a pretty good deal. And it also comes in lower than the RAV4 plug-in hybrid at $46,800. The Tucson plug-in hybrid is $39,000, and even the Sportage plug-in hybrid is $37,500. So it's cheaper than all of those. So that rebate came out middle of last month, and that's a big deal right now. So if you find we have a bunch actually on our lot, so you're going to be able to get all those rebates and stuff off of those. I need to make sure our pricing is. We'll be doing pricing tomorrow instead of today. Also, Bronco Sport, kind of things I highlighted is this month coming up, they are not going to make a Big Bend without the Black Diamond package. Every Big Ben Bronco Sport made in June will have the Black Diamond Off-Road package. Every single one. They will not do a base Big Ben. They will not do a black appearance package. They'll all be Black Diamond Off-Road packages. At least that's what we're told. Things change. We'll see. Because sometimes they tell us that, and then we see that they scheduled a big standard Big Ben. You never know. So there's that. And don't forget the package discount you get, the $750 off of that $2250 package. Plus, they usually had this month they had a $1,000 rebate, so it really brought it down pretty good. Yep. And then don't forget about your Badlands. That's much better this year with an upgraded suspension, and with the Sasquatch, I should say, with an upgraded suspension. Yep. We'll go over that. Oh, this was kind of cool. Bronco. So Bronco is outselling the Wrangler for like the last 4 months, which is pretty cool. So they have this graph here. I probably shouldn't show you that page. They have a graph here showing the sales of the Wrangler, and actually they have Wrangler, 4Runner, Land Cruiser, and Bronco in here. And Bronco has surpassed and has outsold the Wrangler since November of 2024. So every month. So December they outsold them. January, February, and looks like March, they're pacing to outsell them this month as well, this last month. So they're really ramping up. So people are out there saying the Broncos aren't selling. Well, they're selling better than the Wrangler. So there's that. And then they said they had a record sales of Raptors last month. Wonder why. Maybe a $13,000 rebate. That might work. Anyway, so they're just kind of highlighting to dealers the different things. Now, if people out there that are wanting that Wild Track from last year, basically what you need to do is order a Badlands Sasquatch package with a Haas 3.0 suspension, and that gets you a Wild Track in a sense. So there you go. That's how you'd want to order that. Heritage Edition at $49K with the Sasquatch package might be the cheapest Sasquatch package. They also said base and Big Ben are both coming in under $40,000. That Big Ben's a stretch. After you add destination delivery, I think you're over 40, but there you go. And then don't forget the Bronco off-rodeo experience. That's what really puts us over the top, because I don't think Wrangler has anything like that. So Expedition this month, they said they really need some trimmer orders. They're not going to schedule any active. And on the Platinum, they basically you won't get a Platinum scheduled unless you add a Stealth package on there. So a Platinum with a Stealth appearance or performance. You need one of those to get one scheduled, or a trimmer. Probably a King Ranch too. They didn't mention King Ranch, but they did mention Platinum, a standard Platinum, and a Platinum with the Ultimate package. They're not going to schedule, and they're not going to schedule active. So still waiting for mine to ship out. So I have one that was built like Saturday.
Right.
The Platinum was built Saturday, and the trimmer's been setting for 5 weeks now. So we'll see. I think they're going to ship out about the same time. F-150, the hybrid is full on. You can order no constraints at all on the hybrid motor. There are some discount packages out there in the 25 model year. STX is $2,000 discount package. XLT $2,000. Lariat 502A $2,000. Another $1,000 if you have a 2.7 liter. So on an STX, that's $3,000, and then the hybrid motor is also a $1,900 package discount as well. So, but they are telling people, but go ahead and sell down your 24s first. So, just a couple other things. Lightning, if you're needing to get a 2025 Lightning now, because most of the Lightnings aren't going to be built until start in April, which is, well, this month, I guess. You won't see those until May or June. So they're saying if you need to get a Lightning for your customer, then you can get them through the RRC. I actually did a short that I had went live not too long ago. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. So they're available at the Flat Rock Retail Replenishment Center. So go to your dealers. They can get one from that center by going to their locator and looking that up. So don't forget, that's how you'd want to get those. And then lastly, on the Super Duty, there is a bunch of stuff in here. Super Duty is doing pretty well in production. Looks like they're outpacing last year for sales, so that's good. Production is up. I know the F450 production was doubled. Now it's 6%. I think it doubled from 2.5% to 5%. Now it's up to 6% production for the F450. So that's great news. But tonneau covers still keep those off. It's now under 0.5%. Right. That's the capacity. That means less than 1% of all Super Ds will have a tonneau cover on it. Any type of tonneau cover. All right. Questions?
Yes. All right. Do they have any production numbers for Super Duties, aka how many will be 350 450s for May or June? I have F450 Plat Plus and F350 Plat Plus trimmer as single rear wheel on order.
Okay, so 450, and the capacity, as we just said, is 6%, which we just said probably after you posted that. They don't actually list out 350 as what their capacity is going to be. But, that Platinum is built at about, I want to say I think Platinum Plus is 3%, 2 or 3% is their production rate. So that means out of every 100, 2 of them will be that. I think they said that they will make 100 Platinum Pluses each week. So that's kind of what that rate is. So it will take a little longer to get one scheduled. And you have a trimmer that make it, right? That one and the F350 trimmer, that might make it a little bit more difficult. But being single rear wheel does help.
Okay. Do you know starting date for Job 3 for Maverick this summer?
We don't have that yet. I think they said it's not with June production, though. They would have said. So it's probably July production. So it might be one of those things of, like the order bank opens in June for like July or August production.
Yep.
So it'll be at the end of the month. Now I did hear, people I think are concerned about that gas filter being on those vehicles.
Yeah.
But they've been testing that, and they, originally they thought it was going to be a 12 horsepower loss. But the more they're testing that, they're looking like they're not going to have a loss of power. So either they're making that engine better, or they're going to make it perform better with the gas, gas filter, to where the gas filter won't affect it. So maybe the vehicle people without that are going to have even better performance. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're saying they're not going to have a loss of horsepower. And to be honest, I don't think a lot of people understand horsepower versus torque. So when you take off from a stop, that's torque, not horsepower. So torque gets you going, horsepower keeps you going, right? And so
Maverick has a lot of torque.
Yes. So like we had fun with the Mustang Mach-E, right? That I have,
which is pure torque.
Yes, which is a lot of torque, and the horsepower is not as much there. But then we had a 810 horsepower supercharged Mustang, right? And the Mustang beat it off the line. It beat it until about what?
The Mach-E beat it off the line.
Yes. And it was almost to a quarter mile or half a mile before it caught up.
And even then, the guy was letting up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the Mach-E would beat it to a quarter mile. So when you're thinking about that way, it's the torque that gets you going. And like the Mach-E electric vehicle has more torque, so it took off. And then the horsepower is what, once it got to a certain point, the horsepower takes off. So the horsepower takes over once you get into like a quarter mile.
Yep.
So on the Maverick, I don't think people realize that. They're like, well, mine doesn't. I can feel it. I can tell mine has a gas filter. I'm like, well, none of them have the gas filter yet, but I don't think you're going to tell 12 horsepower unless you're really tuned and you're like, you're really into that. You might be able to feel that, but you're not going to feel it off the line. You're going to feel it once you get up to speed.
Yeah.
Once you get up to 40, 50, that's when you're going to actually probably even 60 or 70. You're not going to feel it until you get on the highway.
Right. All right. Why doesn't Ford up production on vehicles that are in high demand, such as Ranger Raptor?
Well, Ranger Raptor is that exclusivity of that. And for one, it's also the suspension and everything that goes along with that. It has everything to do with the capacity of what they can produce and what they can get from suppliers. So, there's probably not enough suppliers that can get this. They can supply the suspension that they need to be able to put that Ranger Raptor together. It's not probably that they can't build the other components or whatever, but just the suspension alone is what's going to make it more difficult. The engine as well, we're going to talk about plants and who produces what engines and different things. But that plant may not be able to make enough because that 3.0 goes in an Explorer ST, it goes in the Ranger Raptor. There might be some differences. Also goes in the Bronco Raptor. So you have some of that. There's a reason why there's a certain capacity of the Raptors, whether it be Ranger, Bronco Raptors, or F-150 Raptors, is it's just the amount of supplies that they have to make them usually. Plus they kind of want to keep it down too. They don't want it to be, open up because, and everything, because then that doesn't, the exclusivity to say I got a Raptor is a big deal.
Yeah. They want to keep that a little bit more closer to the vest, kind of like with the Heritage Limiteds. You can get a Heritage, but Heritage Limited is closer to the vest. Not too many people are going to have that. So then you get to say, I have this not too many people do.
Strop Bronco as well.
Yes.
And to be honest, if you're looking at like a Bronco Raptor, they're going to make more Bronco Raptors than Strop Broncos. In fact, they're going to make more Bronco Raptors than the base. Or right around the same number, I think.
Yeah.
Usually they don't tell you what the percentage or capacity is for the Raptor, but on the Bronco, they actually did list it at 4%. And I think the base is maybe 6%, 6% capacity. But.
All right. Ford received my Maverick order on 1/23. Still no production date. Went to the dealership. They told me I was their only retail order. Today they told me only Broncos had been produced. So they have to have allocations. Now, if they're saying only Broncos were scheduled, that's one thing, but
it has nothing to do with Maverick.
No, it doesn't. Unless they don't have any Maverick allocations.
They're producing vehicles at all these plants.
Yes.
So I just don't think they have an answer for you. That in like a lot of times I may have an answer for you, but you may not like it, and they don't want you to be upset or anything. So they want to like give you good news, and they're kind of like with Ford, so they'd rather not give you news or
kind of like whatever. Our salesman here, where we have people like, hey, they aren't following up with me. I haven't heard from my salesman in this long. Well, our salesmen don't like to give you bad news, and no news they feel is bad news. They want to have a happy call with you. They don't want to be like, hey, I got no news.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thought process.
But that you ordered in January, that is about, now we're looking at 2 months. It all probably more than anything comes down with the fact that it's what you ordered, or not what you ordered, but the problem that they don't have allocations. So, I mean, we'll get a new set of allocations this week. So next Monday is a great opportunity to ask them, how many allocations do you have for April for those production dates in June?
Yes.
And that just right there will just floor them that you know that. But they can look in their WebDo system on the main dashboard, and it'll actually show them how many allocations are available, not used, that needs to be scheduled. Mm-hmm. And then they can also go in and they can see how many Maverick orders are unscheduled. Under the there's a column for that of they've been scheduled. They have different criterias, and one of them is unscheduled clean. The other thing is you might think about is what's on your order, because there is a possibility that if there's more than one order at your dealer and they're not getting a lot of allocations, it could come down to the fact of what you have on your order. So, I mean, the only reason that would come into play is if a dealer has very few allocations and more orders, then it's really a contest between you and the other orders of who's going to get that allocation or two, right? So the cleaner that is, the less of the constraint items or the low capacity items, the better it's going to be for your order. So that would be the only, I mean, really, I could tell somebody could order a vehicle today and they could put in a tonneau cover. They could put all these things that are low capacity, but we have allocations. So it's going to get scheduled because we don't have that many orders. But if you're at a dealer that has low amount of allocations and a lot of orders, that's where that can actually hurt you, and you're better off having it very clean without a bunch of like tonneau covers and bed extenders and the protective film. Take all that stuff off. Yeah. So that was, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, without knowing that stuff, I can't help you out on that.
Yep. All right. I just ordered a Bronco Badlands Sasquatch. I have an April 28th build week. About when should I get my exact build date? So the build to week can fluctuate. And then you won't get your build to day until what, 2-3 weeks?
Couple weeks in advance of that. Your dealer can keep looking it up. The hard part is like I'll go into VinView, and I did this with my own Expedition, because vehicles that are going to be built on that first day of the month, it'll stay that day. So it's kind of like mine when they look in there for like a month out, mine said the week of 3/31, and I'm like, okay, well that's the week. So I haven't figured out. Usually I'm looking for like 4/1, 4/2, right, that week. And so I'll wait until I see that actually change to like a day in that week that's not a Monday. But mine stayed on the 31st even to last week.
Yes.
End up getting billed on the 29th instead of the 31st, but it still said the 31st every day along there. So your dealer can go in and tell you that, but you should, once it goes into production, start getting emails. Yeah. So hopefully, when you get closer, you'll get those emails that it's going into production. Especially what'll happen is you'll get one of those emails prior to that week that says you're going in production, and you'll start be going, what? I thought it was, that next week. Well, that's because once they actually need to prepare your order, they'll say it's in production. So just be aware of that as well. So,
Is there an actual difference between priority 10 and priority 6 on an order? So yes, priority 6 is going to be looked at before priority 10.
So the main difference is if there's two orders at that dealer and one's a 10 and one's a 6, and they're the exact same configuration, the 6 will be scheduled before the 10. So it's all, but configuration is more important than the priority is. So,
Yes.
if you have just the right configuration, like we have Ranger Raptors, right? And I looked because we had one that I was kind of looking at and seeing which one would get scheduled. And there was only 2 out of all those orders that had the B-lock wheel. And they all have the same priority. Well, even if one wasn't, the ones with the beadlock wheel were 19s, if that was what they were trying to schedule for, it would get one of those 2 would get scheduled over the others, even at a priority 10. So, we have all ours the same, but that's how that would work. So configuration is first, priority is second on that. So that's where that can come into play there.
Yep. How successful were the truck month promotions? Also, what time of year does Ford normally shift incentives from prior year models to current year models that they need to move?
They'll keep those incentives really good on the ones that they need to get rid of. Like they were saying, sell down those 24s as the 25s are coming in. They'll keep those rebates going pretty good for the previous model year. Like right now, 25 model year F-150, 0 rebates, 0. But 24s have, like $5,000 rebates on them or whatever. They'll continue to do that until they can actually see how many 24s are at dealers. Until that number gets very low, they'll keep doing it. At a certain point, they do what they call what do they call that? They'll actually they'll give you the dealer one last like rebate in a sense.
Yeah.
So what they'll do is they'll just actually just discount the vehicle that much instead of keeping applying rebates. Man, why can't I think of that term? Anyway, I can't think of it. It's not dealer cash, but it's something like that. But
yeah.
Anyway, they'll do that towards the end when there's like very low amount, like edges. Right? There's some dealers that still had edges last month.
Yeah.
There was a dealer in our region that had like, they sold like 3 or edges, and one dealer sold 6. And I'm like, we've been out of edges for 6 months.
I heard some people had 23 mach-es like a month or 2 ago. Like,
yeah. So at a certain point, Ford will stop giving them rebates, but usually it's over a year.
But you'll see.
Into the next,
would you say that you'll start to see rebates when sales start to get stagnant, or when you start to see the next model year promotions start happening?
Yeah. So like now we're seeing about every models are showing up 25 model years. So rebates are really good right now. So now
on 24.
On 24s.
But he's asking then
25s.
What time of the year does Ford normally shift incentives from prior year models to current?
Oh, it usually has more to do with the amount of vehicles at dealer lots that are in the previous model year. Once those numbers get low enough, then they'll start throwing rebates on the current model years.
Yeah.
So it just depends. But like Maverick has never had a rebate other than the $1,000 for the 24 Lariats.
They don't need them.
Right. Because right now they don't need them.
It also matters on how fast they're moving. Maverick, they don't need incentives to push them.
Nope. Super Duty,
they don't need incentives on that. Now you get to mach-es.
They need help.
Selling as well. They need help, so they'll start throwing more incentives on them.
F-150, you always see incentives because they want F-150 to be the #1 selling truck every year, and they got to keep selling those. So they'll always see some rebates in F-150s.
Yes.
And you'll see truck month. To be honest, truck month incentives weren't that great. They threw out the low interest rate, which was something that was exclusive to truck month, which ended yesterday. But in a sense, sometimes what they'll do is they'll actually like the week or 2 before they'll start, or the month before they'll actually take the rebates down some. So I don't know if you guys noticed Bronco, they had like up to like $2,000 or $1,500 rebate on Bronco for a while. Now they're down to $500. We're like, why are we taking away rebates on the 24 model year instead of keeping them? So something's coming on Bronco. So we'll see if it happens this month, but I think I think we're going to see it there. And some of the Ford reps are saying it's just all about the budget of how much money they have for rebates, and that they needed to, like during truck month, they took rebates away from Bronco so they could give it to F-150.
Right.
And that's possible.
Now, 24 Super Duty, if they're not seeing those sell some of those trim levels, they'll add an incentive, because we have seen incentives on Super Duties occasionally.
I think it's $3,000. I think it's 3,000 on XL, XLT. Lariat, I don't think has rebate.
Mike M says that a dealer in Knoxville still has 3 mach-es.
Wow. Yeah, and that's just a matter of a dealer not paying attention to their inventory and selling down their stuff before the next model year. Like for us, Expeditions we knew was going to be probably April or May before we'd see a 25. They told us this, they forewarned us. So we didn't heavily discount our 24s because we knew they needed to last us. But now we are heavily discounting our Expeditions because we know the 25s are en route. We have a couple that are en route. I should say 4. But they're already actually pre-sold. So yeah, so the first ones are, but so that's kind of how that works. So we want to get rid of that. So for us, like Explorers, this happened. We had our last 24 sold as we got the first 25.
Yes.
So we planned it perfectly, right? And so good dealers are doing that. They're looking at that. They're maintaining their inventory well, managing their inventory so that it goes on, moves
Good
on to the next
inventory
one.
managers know how to work the system and watch those patterns.
Because our frustration is when Ford throws out rebates on previous ones that we sold like 3 months ago. It's like, so hey, look at all these rebates, man. That'll help you out moving those 24s. Like we moved our 24s when you told us to 3 months ago before you gave us rebates.
Yeah.
Now you're giving the dealers rebates, so they have these low ones, and we have these 25s left with no rebates. So when are you going to give us 25 rebates? So we're with you there. So as a dealer like us that doesn't have a lot of the previous model year, we're ready to move on and see some incentives on the 25s. The one that concerns me a little bit is 25 Bronco Raptors. We just got our first one in.
Yeah.
How long are we going to have that before we start seeing the 10 grand rebates on those that the 24s have? Because until dealers 24s are gone, they're going to continue to give them, and they're not going to give any rebates to the 25 Bronco Raptors. I mean, when you can get a 24 for 75,000 at a dealer and we're at 90,
yeah,
it's kind of hard to sell it.
So Clay here says he's looking for an F350 trimmer. Viewed your inventory 2 weeks ago.
We have some XLT and Lariats.
Yes.
I think so.
But then he also asked about F350 Black Widows.
I think we have one left. We have some diesel, or we have some Lariat versions coming.
Yes.
But I think they're all 7.3 liter engines.
Yeah. I'm looking, but I can't find what I want. So with Super Duties, it's hard to find exactly what you want.
We sold a lot of Super Duties last month.
Yes, we did. So either contact us and get with a salesman, so that way as soon as we have something that you are looking for, they can contact you and get you in on it.
We just got a couple ones that just came in.
Or
we pictured one today.
Ordering is another option.
Because for us, we get a lot of allocations and we don't have a lot of retail orders.
Yes.
So we're having to figure out what we can stock, what we want to stock, so that we can stock the right units. And so, we have some Lariat trimmers, we have XLT trimmers, we have Black Appearance Pack and Super Duties. We have mainly XLT trimmers. I think the XLTs are 7.3 liters, and I think our Lariats are diesel trimmers, something like that. But keep an eye. Our inventory is always updating. We're the ones that update the pricing and the inventory as it comes in, and we just had a bunch of Super Duties come in on a truck just the other day, and they're working on getting the pictures this week.
Yep, he's looking for an F350 red, no sunroof, 6.7.
What was that one that Jeff pictured today?
It was red.
We pictured a race red Lariat. I don't think it was a trimmer though. It was a chrome pack. I think it was a 6.7 diesel. We have two that are identical.
You want the Widow or a trimmer?
Oh, okay. We're just hold on. If you're wanting a Lariat Black Widow, we have some coming in. We have 3 more that those did really well after I did my video on them. They did really well. So we have 3 more Black Widows coming. They're going to be Lariat, based off the Lariat trim level though, instead of XLT.
Also order, and we can build out a Widow for you.
Yes, we can work with Black Widow and do that. So the only problem is it won't have quite the discount like we were able to get on those, because
those are stock.
Those were late 24s that they needed to move out of SCA's lot, and so we got a great deal on them. Shouldn't say that, but okay. Anyway, moving on.
We didn't do nothing. All right. So yes, Clay, either get a hold of someone here at the dealership, keep an eye on our inventory. Those would probably be the two options.
Yep.
So, oh, and chips, there's nothing wrong with getting the chip for, because I think when he was looking, I tried that and the chips weren't available at the time.
Oh yeah, that's thing of the past.
Yep, you're good. Like Mike G says,
That was post-COVID.
order it. You'll get exactly what you want.
And what are they scheduling? We have 5 allocations yet to schedule this week.
Yes.
And so that
schedule on Thursday.
Plus, we're going to get more allocations for next week, and that we can get it scheduled. And I think right now they're scheduled for like early May production dates. You can get it in June, somewhere in there.
So last one before we head on, what were Ford's April finance options?
We don't know yet. We'll find out tomorrow.
See, I thought you were saying what are Ford's April Fool's financing options? Today's April Fool's, by the way.
So I know. I don't usually do any kind of April Fool's thing because I don't want anything out there saying that I said something.
Yes.
Tim said that. I'm like, it was an April Fool's joke. No. Anyway.
We won't know yet. We'll know by next week.
Tomorrow is when we're supposed to find out any incentives because they normally do it today, but all the incentives go through till tomorrow. So the current incentives for March go through and they don't actually expire until tomorrow. So new incentives, we'll get new incentives tomorrow that'll start for the 3rd. So
as a follow-up, if truck month incentives weren't particularly strong, when do you expect the real push to clear out the 24 F-150s?
Oh, they were strong because every dealership in our state and our region had a great month. So like we sold about 30% more than we normally do. So we normally sell about 100 new Ford vehicles. We sold 154 this month. So we definitely didn't have any issues selling F-150s and Super Duties and selling a lot of them. So that's why Black Widows went. We sold a lot of our High Boys. We sold a lot of our Mack trucks went.
Yeah.
And we sold a lot of Super Duties and F-150s this month for sure.
Yeah.
So
all right, this is the last one, then we're going to move on. I've had an F-450 Platinum on order since last May, reordered in January, still no build date. Can you get me an F-450?
I probably can. We had, what was it, K-Fly?
Yes.
She put in an order, got scheduled within a week and for production date, and she picked it up already a couple of weeks ago. And
yep.
And they were saying that was fat. I mean, their other dealer could not get it for them and scheduled for them. I can guarantee you that we can get you scheduled for a lot quicker. Now I could say that, but I talked to Henry actually today by phone. Henry called us and he actually did put an order, and that was when we were struggling to get F-450s. But production F-450s has doubled, and even more than that, it's 6% now. So I mean, what you could do is place an order with us as well, and then if we get scheduled before them, cancel their order with them, or vice versa. So what our deal is with us is we require a deposit on a Super Duty, but what we do is you put the deposit down, and if you cancel the order before it gets scheduled, you get your deposit back. But once it schedules, we kind of need you to take it. Yeah. So that's why
the only time where that's a problem is if you get both scheduled.
Both of them get scheduled, then I would So it just depends, but. Yeah, we, like I said, we have 5 allocations with like no retail orders this week. Yeah. And then we even have, we'll have more allocations next month.
And we schedule on Thursday.
Yeah. They get scheduled on Thursday. So you could even put an order in tomorrow. You might get scheduled on Thursday. It's a possibility.
Not a guarantee, but it's possible.
Not a guarantee, but this being the last week before moving to May's or until April's scheduling and allocations, it is maybe difficult. They're going to probably be saying, hey, these are the ones we need, like the F-250s and 350s with XLT Lariat. So we might struggle to get it this week, but should be okay for next week.
Yeah.
All right.
Onwards.
Dealer news updates.
Yes, give us a call.
All right, just got a couple here. One of them is that the Iona was added to the Blue Oval Charge Network. What that means is that it'll now be on your maps. So a lot of times when you're trying to find a charger when you're in in your navigation in your vehicle, whether it be a mach-e Lightning, now their chargers will show up as well, and it'll show up in the app. So, and allow you to be able to use your app to pay for it. So you don't have to use their system to pay for it. You can now use the app, which is funny because I have Francis Energy on here, and I don't think that worked with my app when I charged there. I went by there. Anyway, so that's been added. So that's another provider. So they have a whole list of them now. Blink, ChargePoint, Electrified America, which actually plug and charge. You don't even have to do anything. Electric Circuit, EV Connect, EV Go, Flow, Forge Charge Network, Francis Energy, Shell Recharge, Teslas, of course, with if you have an adapter and that kind of thing. So, all right, this other one is that they are continuing for those that want to buy a Mustang Mach-E or an F-150 Lightning or an E-Transit. They are going to continue the home charger and standard installation promotion through June 30th of 2025. So they are extending it for you. And so the only difference and change that they made of this is that before what they did like yesterday, if you bought one, if you decided you didn't want the charger, you wanted to take the cash offer instead, they would get you incentive instead of the charger, and it was $1,000. As of today, it's $500 instead. So I think it sounds like they're wanting people to take the charger installation. But if you already have one, like I have one, and I'm getting a second vehicle, I don't need the charger anymore. But anyway, well, in that case, then you get an extra $500, I guess. But anyway, so that is continuing. So, and you would get the charger from the dealer and then set up charging. And they say standard installation because they say just doing the wiring and all that, they'll pay for that. But if you have to do some extra ground wiring to like a garage or something like that, then you have to pay for that. So it's just a like standard installation. If there was already kind of wiring and all they have to do is kind of wired from your box. So if it's real easy wiring, they're going to cover that cost.
Yes.
They haven't said how much. I don't know. Anyway, we'll talk about that next week.
Anthony, if you would like your Bronco Sport inside, we can certainly do that for you.
Is it raining now?
No.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to get it in the building anyway because I want to do a video. Okay. So
we can orchestrate that before we head out.
We just need to find, maybe text Mike and see where he's got the keys.
Okay.
All right. We got recalls next. Got any questions before we get into that?
No, we are good.
All right. I'll do recalls. All right. Just a couple of recalls. And most of these are actually advance notice recalls, which means they're not official recalls. This first one is Customer Satisfaction Program 24B50 for 24 model year Rangers. It says only 31 vehicles are affected by this, and this program will be in effect through March 31st, 2026 with no mileage limit. In some of the affected vehicles, if the language option on the sync screen is changed to any language other than U.S. English, the connected vehicle features option under vehicle connectivity menu may not be visible. With this condition, the user is unable to perform any changes to the connectivity and data transmission settings. By default, the vehicle connectivity is enabled from the factory. If a user authorizes the modem via Ford Pass, the default for the vehicle is to share additional data, including driving data and precise vehicle location. So over there update can be done on this, so you don't even need to bring it in because it is they have the Sync 4 system. So some vehicles that says may have received an OTA, have been repaired or were repaired at the assembly plant. Monitor OASIS before opening an RO and or beginning a repair. So some of them already got the OTA. So these are probably the 31 vehicles that maybe didn't have OTAs turned on, and so they couldn't have it updated. So they might need to come into the dealer. So owners of record would be expected to be mailed the week of March 31st. So that was this week. So the next one is Safety Recall 25S31. This is for 2018 to 2020 model year Ford Expedition and Lincoln Navigators. And it looks like 105,250 vehicles are affected by this, and it has to do with the safety belt. So on some of the affected vehicles, the driver and or Front passenger seatbelt retractor pretensioners may deploy inadvertently while the vehicle's engine is on. Inadvertent deployment of the retractor pretensioners will result in a seatbelt being locked in position. It will not retract or extend, which is noticeable to the occupant. While the primary seatbelt locking function continue to function properly, a seatbelt that does not retract or extend may result in injury in the event of a crash. So, the safety recall expands the population of suspectable front seatbelt pretensioners from the previously released recall 24S06. So, anyway. So it said on this one here that owners of record will be notified via first-class mail within 60 days, which may occur before parts ordering is available. So again, these are like advanced notices, which means it's telling the dealers so that they know what's going on, but letters may not go out yet. All right, this in here is an advanced notice as well for safety recall 25S30 for 24 to 25 model year F-150 Expedition and Navigators with the 3.5 liter EcoBoost engine. Only 4,155 vehicles are affected by this recall, and in some of the affected vehicles that have a 3.5 GTDI engine that may have a misaligned cup plug at the side or near of the engine, at the side or rear of the engine. Sorry, my glasses. I might need my glasses. Which may result in a rapid oil leak. An oil leak in the presence of an ignition source, such as a hot engine or exhaust components, can increase the risk of a fire. In addition, the loss of oil can result in a loss of motor power, increasing the risk of a crash. So you'd see that in your driveway. Owners of record will be notified via first-class mail after parts ordering and information, including repair instructions, have been provided to dealers. Again, advance notice. So when they get the official notice and they have parts available, then they'll let you know. All right. Last one is Customer Satisfaction Program 25B14 for 24 model year F-150 Lightnings. Only 2,686 vehicles are affected by this, and some of the F-150 Lightning 311A, that's your XLT, vehicles were produced with a window sticker that incorrectly indicates the forward sensing system is standard content, which is inaccurate. Affected vehicles were built correctly. However, the window label was not updated properly. This program is designed to reimburse customers who purchased vehicles with incorrect window labels. Ford will refund $100 to the vehicle's owner, original purchaser. No service action is required by the dealership. So owners will be mailed the week of April 14th for that one. So window stickers need to be accurate or not. So, all right, get that all figured out.
All right. Yes. It is inside service drive.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Already? Okay. All righty. We're supposed to get some bad storms here. So we have like Raptor R inside. And usually what we try to do is anything that we have that's already sold, we make sure they're inside.
Yes. So sometimes the picture building gets a little chaotic because you have 3 to 4 salesmen bringing their vehicles back. Hey, we need to get this in.
But we have service, and we don't have the service drive open. So we have if you've seen it, we could actually park about 20 cars in there. So
the service.
In service.
Yeah.
Not the service drive.
You can fit
about
6 sedans.
Yeah. All right. Have any questions? Probably. You don't know?
No. Oh,
right.
It's 25 expeditions starting to ship to dealers.
Yes. We have 4 that are in transit at least. So
anything on the stop sale for 24 Raptor?
24 Raptor, F-150, Ranger, Bronco. I don't think so. We got our first Bronco Raptor. Yes. We've been getting 25 F-150 Raptors. So maybe, and we got our first Ranger Raptor.
You said 24.
Oh, no. Don't think so. I mean, 25's already shipping out. All the 24 should have already been at dealers. If your 24 has not been delivered to your dealer, you might check to see if that's actually accurate.
Yeah. F-150.
Yeah, all 24s would have been delivered by January.
But if they have one on the lot, is there a recall out for it right now? That
there,
would be a stop
there
sale?
is a possibility. Oh, yeah, there could be a possibility for a 24 recall. I think some people on the call today were asking about a certain recall. So there's a possibility. We have some Super Duties, but we didn't have any F-150s.
We don't have any F-150s. Raptor left.
Not
so
24s, no.
that we wouldn't know.
I don't know, but there is a possibility that there could quite possibly be a hold on that, like there was the Mavericks. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I was thinking it hadn't been released from the plant. Sorry.
No, you're good. All right. Those are the questions I had.
Ready to move on?
Yes.
Only 10 minutes later than what I promised. All right. Not too bad. So we're going to talk about this. This is a topic. We're going to talk about tariffs. And this is a topic I've sidelined and didn't want to discuss because, for one, they weren't happening for a while and they kept getting delayed and everything else. But now it looks like they're around the corner. Looks like in 2 days, we're going to see tariffs being 25% tariffs being applied to automotive parts and vehicles. Well, hold on. Automobiles that are made in Mexico and Canada coming over the border to the U.S. and sold in the U.S. It looks like they're going to get a 25% tariff on those vehicles starting on the 3rd, just in 2 days. So, I kind of want to talk about this about like, hey, what have I heard? I'll kind of like mention things that what I've heard is possibly happening. And also we'll kind of talk about, thoughts on that and the implications of what could happen, to the cost of our vehicles, right? And whether or not they're going to go up. And maybe some things that we aren't thinking about. Now, something else that's happening that's in a month yet is any parts like transmissions, engines, any other parts that are made in Mexico and Canada coming over, they have 30 more days. So May 3rd is when they will start getting a 25% tariff. At this point, it's only vehicles that are assembled coming over that are getting that. And so one of the things basically Ford's answer to this and what they've basically told dealers is, we have more vehicles assembled in the United States than any other manufacturer. We are positioned really good for this because there are a lot of, and I was going to look it up, but maybe you guys can help me. There's a lot of other manufacturers that don't. 80% of our vehicles are built in the United States. We're talking the F-150, the number one selling vehicle, the Super Duty, the Expedition, your Explorer, right? Your Mustang, your Bronco, right? Your the Ranger. All those are built in the United States of America, right? And Escape, all those are built here. We do have 3 vehicles, again, 20% that aren't built in the United States, which there are a lot of people concerned about that because those are 2 of the cheapest vehicles that aren't made in the United States. And then we do have the Mustang Mach-E, which isn't a huge seller, but is still an important vehicle for Ford to hit their, well, now there is no number we have to hit now anymore with the new administration. But so those are the vehicles that we're kind of concerned about. The Maverick, the Bronco Sport, the Mach-E. What are we going to do about those? Are those prices going to go up? And we are being told by Ford that they are not going to go up. So they said that the prices will not go up on those vehicles. So I don't know what their plan is. They didn't actually
nail down the plan.
We might know some things, but I'm feeling really confident. I'm really positive for the future and for Ford and what they're doing. And I know the whole, and I actually had an outline. I'm just kind of going off the script here, but one of the things that the Trump administration wants to do is they want to bring more jobs to the U.S. and they want the Americans, to buy more American-made cars. But that I don't think is the main reason they're doing this. Is they're trying to hurt, I think, Canada and Mexico, because I don't think they feel like there's been a fair trade before. And so he's doing this because it hasn't been fair and some things need to change. And so they're going to continue to do the tariff until then. So who knows? Maybe they're going to sit along and Ford and the other manufacturers are going to just kind of suck up this cost for a couple, a month, and then we'll see what happens. And maybe then Canada and Mexico fold and then the tariffs go away and then we're back to doing business the way we are. Or do they really need to start thinking about shifting? And they've kind of said they need more time, and I think what Trump's answer is you've had more time. I gave you a month to figure this out. You can't just move production from the plants in Mexico to a plant in the United States that may or may not exist and just start production. It doesn't work that way. Even when you shut down and go from one model year to the next on like a redesign year, you're talking 2 to 3 weeks of shutdown before it can start production up again. Not to mention having to get 100% new, move the thing parts from. I don't know. This is so we'll see how this plays out, but I don't know. So the question is going to be: are they going to make these vehicles in plants in the United States? Which for people like that are saying, "Hey, I'd buy a Maverick, but I want one that's made in America." You may have that. You may get that, right? Well, we don't know. The biggest thing I think is going to be a big hit is we have a lot of transmissions and engines made in Mexico, and just over the border. Here, actually, I'm gonna pop this up. I want to show you this because I think this is really weird. You could almost call it the Canadian Detroit, right? Let's pop this up on the screen. I have this up. So I found this here that shows all the assembly plants for Ford. Now, some of these are making vehicles that are staying in Europe or in South America and that kind of thing, right? But like Canada plant, that Oakville, so they were making the Edge and Nautilus. I don't know if it still makes the Nautilus or not, but the Edge is no longer being made. They talked that this plant was going to get shifted over to Super Duty production, which that might not get halted. But there's that plant, right? See what else? These plants in Germany and China are those for vehicles that are made over there or stay over there. Now we do have this in here, and I can't say that name, so I'm not going to. But the ones that make the mach-e, the mach-es are built at this plant, and it has a whole of 1,000 employees, 885 that are hourly employees. So you look at the numbers, and I look at how big that is, 207 acres. And we're gonna look at some of the other plants and talk about them because some of them you can see how massive these plants are, or assembly plants are, right? And what they can do, and think about maybe they could do more, and that's where some of these maybe could be made. Of course, we're Hermosillo, which is where they make the Bronco Sport and the Maverick, 279 acres as well. So you remember Mach-E that. They don't make a lot of Mach-Es.
Right.
And this one has a lot more employees. Look at that. They're running on 3 shifts there. So 70 employees, but only 300 of those are hourly employees.
You got 70 more acres.
But 70 more acres, but they also run it on 3 shifts. Whereas like a Mach-E, I think they only run on 1 shift.
Oh.
Maybe 2. And that's the difference there. But, and then... you have some of these others that are for.
Nautilus is assembled in China now.
That's right. That's right. Chicago, of course, that's where you see the Explorer. There's actually 2 plants in Chicago. The police interceptors are made in their SHO plant, and then the Lincoln Aviator and their Explorers are made at their main plant.
So knowing how large that is, 113 acres, and having been inside.
Well, that's not the one we've been in.
No. Okay.
We've been in the SHO plant, which they don't actually list that one in here. So
it's too small to list.
I don't know. Maybe they're combining, but 113 acres is not that big. But they build a lot of vehicles. You're talking 4,500 people in that small plant. So
whoa.
And then you have Dearborn Truck Plant. That's where they're making the F-150. 3,600 employees. F-150 and Raptors are made there, right? 1,100 acres though, and less employees. Anyway. Could they make more other vehicles, right? I don't know. Just throwing this out there. Flat Rock Assembly Plant. That's where they make the Mustang and the Mustang GT and the Dark Horse, right? 1,600 employees, 400 acres for that plant, right? So the question is can they make more than just the Mustang? Could they move the Mustang Mach-E into that plant? I don't know. Anyway, I don't have answers to this. I'm just throwing out a speculation. Kansas City.
Wait.
Look how big that is.
Kansas City plant is larger than
1,200. We have a lot more room around Kansas.
9,000 employees.
9,000 employees. They make the Transit, E-Transit, and F-150. There's a lot of F-150s built there too. So,
opened in 1951.
Kentucky Truck Plant. That's where they make Super Duties. Now, when you look and see how many Super Duties they make, and they make Expedition, and they make Navigator there, 500 acres, 8,800 people. So they make a lot of vehicles out of there. And then they're in Louisville. So Louisville is where you make the Escape and the Lincoln Corsair. 180 acres for that one. I think they have room. They could make a vehicle. Like maybe they could make the Mach-E there. I don't know. Maybe they make it Broncos. I got a feeling they kind of want to make the Bronco Sport and Maverick together in a plant because they use a lot of the same parts. So I don't know. Is there a plant? I'm looking to see if there's a plant that's not make anything. Michigan assembly plant and make the Bronco, the Ranger, and the Bronco there. 64, 65, and these numbers are as of like January of 25. So these are pretty updated. Ohio, they make Ohio makes the medium, the F650, 750, the F350, 450, and 550 Super Duty chassis cabs. So all your Super Duties that have cabs on them, like your 450s, 250s, 350s, those are made in Kentucky. So there you go. So there's that one, and that one's got some room. So I don't know. They're making a lot. And then you get the Rouge Electric plant. So I do know for a fact that they moved down. They only have 683 employees.
12 acres.
12 acres. But I think they probably could make the Mach-E there. So I mean, there's some question. Could they shift? Could they make Mustang and move Mustang to another plant? Could they then use the Flat Rock to make the Bronco Sport and the Maverick?
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's the question there. But and the other thing that we need to discuss is where they're making the engines, because not all the engines are made in the United States.
Yeah.
So that's the other dilemma on that, is that it's not just the vehicles assembled, but those are going to get maybe
and then there's
with the
so
25%
many parts
tariff.
that probably are not made in the U.S.
Yeah.
Someone said, I mentioned how much larger the Kansas City plant is than the Michigan. And they said, lots of fields in Kansas. Well, not Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas.
I want to know where in Kansas City this facility is, because
we had it right there.
Kansas City is actually a metro area. It's large.
It's a Missouri side. It's
Missouri
in
side.
Claycomo.
Claycomo.
So you can see there.
Oh,
so it is kind of out
between Liberty and northern Kansas City.
Yeah, so it is kind of out there, and there's more room.
Okay.
There's more room.
Yeah.
Over there.
Okay. Yep.
You know a plant though that is pretty close to being up and running? It was supposed to be, wasn't it supposed to be 2026 that plant in Tennessee or whatever was supposed to be ready to go to build electric vehicles? Remember? They don't have it on here, but there was a plant that was supposed to be up and running in by 2026. Maybe they're getting close on that plant, and instead of making an electric vehicle, they can make the Bronco Sport and Maverick there.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the question. So the question is, are they going to do that? But they're saying the prices will not go up on vehicles at this point. So if they make them there and have to pay that 20%, 25% tariffs, they're not gonna push them over to the vehicles.
Right.
For this model year, that is what I think is that we're going to see that be the case within this model year. So in 25 model year, will they? But in 26 model year, will we see a significant increase? Is the problem. So I think people that are really concerned have been asking me a lot is, I have one on order, it hasn't been made yet, or it hasn't been shipped yet. Am I going to get the tariff? Ford's saying that they don't plan to raise that price. Now, you see Trump that says, I don't care. And I think one of his quotes is, I don't care if they raise the prices or not. He didn't care. And I'm like, well, wasn't the whole point in making America great again, right? The tagline. Now that's going to be picked up and the president's going to be seeing this. But I mean, it was all about, trying to help the Americans. Well, you're helping. I mean, is it going to drive the prices of our vehicles up? A lot of people buy the Maverick and Bronco Sport because it is cheaper.
I mean, we had what happened with our factories and their workers because they couldn't afford the vehicle pricing.
Right. They backed out of the vehicles. They went and bought used vehicles.
Well, no, I was talking about the strikes. Our factory workers were on strike, and one of the reasons was they couldn't afford the vehicles that they were building. Yes.
So we give them more money, but then we raise. I mean, it's kind of one of those things. It's like, okay, we give them more money, but yet then because of that, we need to make the vehicles more expensive, so they still can't afford them. But I mean,
it's a vicious cycle right now.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that. So I mean, I think it's going to be difficult. Plus, you're going to have, I think what you're going to see too is possibly you're going to see some of these factory workers from Hermosillo going to be on work visas, so they're going to come over and take. I mean, that was the other thing, is to give more jobs to Americans, which I think is great. Right? We need more jobs in America, and by bringing that production into the U.S., then it is completely United States, built vehicles by United States auto workers. Which is a nice, thing to do,
Yeah.
thing for us to be able to do. And I'm all for that. I don't know. Will you, okay. That might be the question is, are you okay paying more money if it's a 100% American made vehicle? Right.
Yeah.
That's the question I mean, that's what everybody has to look at, and there are people that shied away from the Maverick because it was made in Mexico. A lot of people said that. It's like, I buy it, but it's not made in Mexico. It's made in the U.S. Then I'd be looking at it. So, like I said, if it was made in the U.S., it probably wouldn't be as cheap as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm not seeing the comments. What kind of questions do we have on this so far? I still have some other things that I could talk about. But
so Clay says that he is near the Kansas City plant in Clay Como. And it sits above the Hunt Midwest Underground, literally above the caves. You know those caves that we've talked about before?
Yeah.
It sits above that.
Oh, okay.
Which, remember when I was doing research on it, and I said that Ford actually stores parts in one of the levels of the tunnels?
Mm-hmm.
They'll store extra parts in there. Makes sense if they have a factory up above.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I have 16 questions.
All right. We can see this.
All right. It took a while to convert Hermosillo from Fusion to the Maverick and Bronco Sport. Blue Oval City, Stanton, Tennessee is still under construction. It's expected to open this year.
So maybe we have to hold out, and then I don't know. I mean, because I know that plant was like they're saying like engines and everything were going to be able to be built there. And they would not have to have. One of the things that they did with the people there in Tennessee is they said, unlike the others, we wouldn't be bringing a lot of parts and stuff on trucks in through those roads, because they were going to make the vehicles, everything there, including your engines, transmissions, all your parts were going to be made in this facility. So it wasn't going to be a facility where they had to go outside the box, or they wouldn't have to bring in parts and different things like transmissions and engines on big trucks and having all these trucks going through their city and everything in their town.
Yeah.
And that was one of the benefits of this new state-of-the-art assembly plant, was everything was going to be done there in their facility. So that would be great for so the question is right now, Trump's not pushing the EV agenda, so we don't have to make EVs. And if people aren't buying the EVs like the Lightnings now and the Mach-es, they're making enough that they are keeping with demand. But as a dealer, we don't have people coming in droves wanting a Mach-e and a Lightning, like they want the other vehicles. So give them what they want. And so maybe what they need to do with that plant, since it was supposed to be an electric plant, is make it a plant let's make the Bronco Sport and the Maverick there instead.
Yeah.
For now, until they can build another plant or something, or figure that out, or do some shifting. I mean, they'll still own the plant in Mexico.
True.
So if the tariff gets lifted or whatever, they can still then push the production back there, and then I don't know. Just throwing that out there. I don't know nothing. I know nothing.
Yeah. All right.
Just brainstorming with us here until Ford tells us what they're really doing and what their plan is. But I know that Ford's always got, their plan and working with the administration. So we'll see. I know what they're telling us, though, is, they have more American made vehicles and that they will not raise prices. Now, I see that being holding true for the 25 model year. And I believe price protection will stay in play, because I asked that, and they said, yes, price protection will be in place. So if you ordered a vehicle already and it hasn't been built, when it comes in, it should be price protected, still continue to be price protected. Now, again, that is up to the dealership, because there are some shady dealerships out there doing the wrong thing to good customers, and they could easily start this is going to start being a hot topic. Watch, we're going to
Yeah.
continue to talk about this because what we're going to have is we're going to have dealers that are saying, well, the prices went up because of the tariff, so we have to mark it up. Like, no, 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 no. Right?
Crappy dealer.
So it's price protection. And so I think we're going to be having to talk more about price protection. But from what I've been told and what I've heard is that Ford is price protecting. If you ordered a vehicle, it will not go up in price. Now, whether the MSRP goes up, that is another thing. But as the dealer needs to honor that because they said price protection will be in play.
Right. All right. Thoughts on what Ford financing rates we'll see now compared to later this month with tariffs possibly affecting incentives?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because the banks are in the United States, right? That they're working through. They're not working through. I mean, so I don't see that the bank rate should be affected by where the vehicle is made.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Good thought
Yes. I agree, Clay. They need to bring the Fusion back.
though. So some of the plants, while you're looking at more comments,
Yeah.
that make the different engines. Let's talk about where these engines are made. So in Chihuahua, I have a Chihuahua. In Chihuahua, Mexico, they have 2,430 employees, and they make the 2.0 liter hybrid. Don't know what vehicle that goes in, but they also make the 2. And remember, these are engines that could go in vehicles that go to Europe too. 2.5 liter gas engine, which I don't think they're making that anything in America. 2.5 liter hybrid. There's your Maverick engine right there. 2.5 hybrid, as well as what they put in the Escape. 2.5 liter T6, it says. So I'm not sure. 1.5 liter engine, that is what goes into your Bronco Sport. The 4.4 liter and 6.7 liter. The 6.7, there's your diesel engine. That's a big one. So those are all made down there in Mexico. And those are current ones. So as of right now, and their plant their facility is 247 acres just for all those engines.
Oh, look at that. So. Historical products. Engine Pinta, 83 to 91. Zetec engine, 93 to 2004. Duratec i4, 2000 to today. Scorpion, 6.7, 2010 to today. Diesel V8, 4.4, 2010 to today.
So that diesel, I think, might be the one that goes in the Ranger that goes to Europe.
Yep.
I don't know for sure, but that's a bigger diesel. Anyway, I don't know, but they don't put that in a car in the United States.
Right.
But so Scorpion 6.7, I'm not sure what engine that is. I don't think that's a high output one, but so there you go. So there's that one. There's most of them are made in the United States. Other than that, I think Canada they have here. So here's the one that I was going to show. Put this back up.
Oh, Windsor.
Yeah, so there's a couple plants that you want to take that comment off.
Let me make sure I have it.
So this is a plant that makes a 7.3 liter Godzilla V8 engine. It is right over the border, like right on the border. If you look and see where that's at, that is right there, right by Detroit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the Detroit, Canada. It's just over the border. And then this next one, the Essex, also right over the border. So I was like, the 5.0 liter V8 engine, that's important for us, especially our lightning bolts. But that one is right over the border as well. So can they just push those, find a place to just over the border and make those engines over there? Those are two important engines that are made in Canada. So I don't know. And can they, with those engines, can they suck up the 25% tariff on those engines is going to be the question, whether or not they can do that.
Right.
So anyway, all right, other questions.
Should be interesting. I know Subaru announced that they've stopped taking custom orders in response to tariffs. So it seems like every manufacturer will handle it slightly differently.
Yep. You look at it, I don't know where the graph is, but I saw a graph somewhere that showed the different vehicles, and Ford has the highest amount of vehicles made in the United States of any manufacturer.
Right.
At 80%. and what was it? Volkswagen was like the worst. They were the lowest. And let's see if I can like Google this and find out. See if this will work. USA. I'm gonna see if I can find that graph. I just want to images. No, best selling. Huh, I can't find it. I don't know. Maybe Ford had it, but I don't want sales. I want manufactured. Anyway, I don't know where that's at. I wish I had kept that. But yeah, it was the highest, and and there's a lot of them that are going to be struggling. What I think GMC, and maybe you guys can help me. Where is the Silverado made? Right? Where is the Chevy Silverado? Is it made in the United States? Oh, wrong one. That's at Fort Wayne. So that is made in the United States. That's in Michigan. Okay. With some of the models also produced in Mexico. So not all of them are made in the U.S. So it looks like they make some in Fort Wayne, some at the Flint Assembly. And then in Mexico, they produce some of the Silverado 1500s. So it looks like their Super Duties are made in Flint, Michigan. And then Fort Wayne Assembly in Indiana is their primary manufacturer of Silverado 1500 and GMC Sierra 1500s. But they do also make some Silverado 1500s down in Mexico. So there you go. So they do make some down there. Now I know that their cheap SUV is made in Mexico. So that'll be a big impact on them as well, because that's been a good selling vehicle for them. Can't remember what one that is, but all right.
Right.
More questions.
Let's see. I have it right here. How long does the Maverick frozen camera recall take and get? I got told there's a secondary battery monitoring system update. That's part of the battery fix for the hybrid Maverick.
Okay, there is a different recall. That's a different recall on the battery, where they will replace the battery, and that's for 23 model year vehicles, I believe. Or am I right? I think it's 23 model year vehicles, or maybe 24s. Certain model years. There's one model year that gets their batteries replaced, but that is a separate recall, and that recall does not have the fix out yet because they don't have all the parts available yet. So that recall isn't out, so they can't do both of those for you. The frozen camera recall should take 30 minutes to an hour, and they will need to hook up your battery to keep the state of charge up. It has to be in good health before they start it. But then they'll connect it. But I've been told 30 minutes to an hour is about how long it should take. And they can do it remote. Talk to your dealer. They can come to where you're at, work, home, whatever, and they can actually do it in your driveway.
Right.
So.
Did you see actually Tesla's 100% of US sales?
I don't know if that's 100% accurate because of what I saw there's got to be something that that's not.
Did you see the
because that's what I thought too, but I think there might be some.
Did you see people are now trading in their Teslas?
Yes. Have you seen people putting emblems on theirs? I think I saw a Tesla truck that had Toyota on the back.
It identifies as Toyota now. Or putting stickers saying, I bought this before. Like, no, there's people going out there and destroying Teslas because they don't agree with what's going on.
So if you're one of those, they have cameras that are always working 100% of the time on those. And there are a lot of people that gotten arrested and are doing time in jail for like a year.
Yeah.
For vandalizing Tesla vehicles.
Yeah, it's vandalism of private property.
Yes. And so they're getting time in jail for this.
Private property, but yes.
And no, there's somebody that got like 12 to 18 months in a parking lot. They parked 2 spots over and they went and keyed their vehicle, and the camera picked it up because there's cameras on the mirrors and there's cameras on the doors.
Yes.
They will see you.
But then you still have all those things to repair. So people are like, I bought this before. I did this, or
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't finance Tesla, so that people don't touch their vehicles.
Right. It's a shame, but yeah.
Come on, guys. Let's be better. Let's be nice. Be kind to one another.
That's right.
Who cares if they bought a Tesla?
I don't care. People make mistakes. We'll make mistakes.
All right.
Maybe they'll buy a mach-e next time.
So going off of that recall, will Ford stand behind the warranty if McArthur hooks up to the ECM? I was told if they see any changes, they will not cover. Am I being told BS?
All right. Standard by the warranty. McArthur hooks up the ECM.
So I'm just now has said it before. If we are doing work on your vehicle, it's either under warranty that is under warranty. We are not going to do anything that is going to void that warranty.
Correct.
There have been people that have asked us to change things or do things that would void their warranty, and we are not willing to do that here.
Somebody asked me about something. I'm like, no, we're not going to do anything that would void your warranty for you. And so, yeah, we're not going to do that. Now, if we add anything to the vehicle, like part of our packages, we cover that under the warranty. McArthur has our own warranty, LMP warranty, that will cover that for the same warranty as the factory.
Yes.
So if we add a supercharger to your vehicle, it's going to be covered on a 3-year 36. If we add any parts to your vehicle that would alter your vehicle, if Ford doesn't cover it, we cover it. So any of our package builds are always covered under any warranty. Now, we're not going to do anything to your vehicle that wouldn't be covered or would void your warranty.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And that dealer, if they're needing to fix something on your vehicle and it's like, well, McArthur did this or whatever, then you need to call us, call our aftermarket department if it's a build that we did, and we'll take care of that. We'll talk to the dealer. We'll have them fix it. We'll take care of the repair.
Yeah.
So we've had it happen.
Oh, Anthony heard. Actually, Tim, I heard someone got 20 years for vandalizing a Tesla dealership.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah.
You guys, I don't think people realize is that, Elon is like, there's people that Tesla's not Elon's baby. Tesla was not created by Elon.
Yeah. Duct tape can fix everything except stupidity.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, he's thinking for his 22 Black Widow. So if there's anything we're doing to a Black Widow, it's
SCA would cover that.
Yeah,
SCA has a warranty, and they're really big into the compliance. So the Federal Vehicle Motor Standards, they're real big into saying that they cover and they're compliant to all the safety motor vehicle standards, and they will take care of anything that they add to the vehicle, suspensions, whatever. They're going to cover it under their warranty. So it's either them or Ford that will cover that.
Yes. Yep. All right.
That's what's good about, like if you get a package, like some people will say, well, I could lower mine and I could do this and that. And like, if you lower it and something happens, then Ford's not going to take care of it because you did it yourself. But if you have a dealership do a package and we lower it and we put these things on there, we're going to cover our work. Yeah. So that's always another benefit of getting, a package like what we do done is, like when I do some like suspension I had redone here, I had the dealership do it. They're going to, so if something happens to it, they're going to cover it.
Yes.
Either them or Rough Country.
Yeah.
All right.
Does the picture building become the hail protection building very often? I remember Brandon Jones miraculously escaped a hailstorm after it arrived. So actually his
hailstorm came through here. It wasn't here yet.
So one of them, his truck was on the rail car still, and a hailstorm went through Kansas City. Right. So it did not get his truck because it was within the rail car still. And then the second one, it was still in Kansas City, and a hailstorm went through here, and it was delivered to us the next day.
Yeah.
So it missed it. Yeah. But if we know that your vehicle is sold, we are going to protect your vehicle. We can fit some vehicles in the picture building. Right now there's the Raptor R out there. So high-end vehicles that we have that we are pretty deep into, or ones that we don't want to fix the paint on. get put inside and whatnot. So, but
Yeah.
I think they put more inside the shop than usual.
Yeah. We'll put them in the shop too. I didn't know we were going to get hail. I heard we were going to get a thunderstorm, but I didn't know it was going to be hail.
You never know. You never know with Kansas.
Nope.
So might as well be safe. I ordered my 25 Expedition by my dealer 3 months ago. Do you know if they're still scheduling production for this month?
Yeah, they are.
So April is a new round of scheduling.
3 months ago, I know. Yeah. I mean, see, mine got supposed to get built just the other day.
Yep.
And they're scheduling for those April build dates. Yeah. So, it may come down to the fact that your dealer needs an allocation for Expedition to get yours scheduled. So, they ordered by my dealer 3 months ago. So they haven't been scheduled yet. That is a concern. I talked to your dealer to find out what kind of allocations they have. Like I said, we're open on, I don't know how many allocations we have, but we can usually get Expedition scheduled pretty easily.
Yeah.
There's a lot of models where we actually have to we use our allocations with stock orders because we don't have enough retail orders. So we would love to take orders and help people get their vehicles. But
all right, so I have a dad joke I want to shout out here. Nope, that's not it. Where'd he go? I just have it. Oh, my neighbor asked me if I'd lived here all my life. I told him not yet. All of my current life, yes. Ford enthusiast asked if his Bronco Sport had been pictured. It was actually in the picture building.
Pictured. So, do you want pictures? I can send them to you.
Yeah.
They're pictured in the building. We went ahead and pictured it anyway. I knew.
Yeah. Do the dents come out of the new aluminum F series?
Yep.
Okay. I have two more. Just got a $2,500 rebate for my Ford F-150 through email. I hope Ford ups its rebates this new quarter. So that one is an ICI offer. It's not a regular rebate that's offered at the dealerships. So that's sent out to customers on a quarterly basis and basically says, hey, we've noticed that you purchase, in this pattern, or hey, you haven't purchased in a while. Would you be interested in purchasing?
Mike got one of those, Mike McArthur.
So here's $2,500 towards the purchase of a vehicle. Go for it to try and get you to come in and purchase a vehicle. So not everyone gets those. Not everyone will have one.
And there are select ones that there are two different user lists, and some will get more than others. But a lot of them will say up to a certain amount on different vehicles, and not all vehicles will apply. And so some only get 750. Like I think Maverick gets a 750 for one of those people, and that kind of stuff. So every model is a little different. But yeah, those go out quarterly. So if you just got one, it probably just happened like today, right? And then the ones that were going the last quarter, they expired. So, and that works on any ordered vehicle or any vehicle in stock during those dates. So if you order a vehicle within those 3 months, then you get locked into that offer. So you get to use it. Or if you purchase a vehicle at a dealer within that time. So if you have one on order and it comes in during the quarter that you got that certificate or that offer, then you're in luck because you get to use it on that ordered vehicle. But if your ordered vehicle doesn't come in within those 3 months, then you can't use it, right? So
yeah. So Clay, you're asking what the top Bronco trim is. It all depends on your needs. Are you looking to drive it around? Are you looking to off-road? What are your needs is going to base what you get or what we would recommend for you. Now, if you're looking for gas mileage, because you said you're thinking of trading your 19 Fusion for that Bronco, if you're looking at gas mileage, I'd stay in the 19 Fusion.
Yeah, Broncos not gonna save you a lot in gas. Stay with the standard wheels, the 32s. You might have a little bit of luck of getting in the 20s. Stay with the 2.3 liter instead of the 2.7. It might even help you out even more.
One of my favorite comments from our Colorado trip, we were driving and we got to the end of a trail day and we were headed back, and over the radio she goes, so what's everyone's gas mileage sitting at?
I'm like 12 and a half.
I think someone's like, you don't even want to know.
Mine is not good. But I'm always like mine. I don't ever reset. So of course, every time you get in it, it'll actually tell you what it is for that trip. But no. But seriously, on the Bronco. So Ford does a little differently. There's not really like in some vehicles you would say, okay, a Platinum Expedition is the top level. That's the loaded up one, right? And an F-150, a Platinum F-150 is your loaded up top of the line vehicle, right? Bronco, it's a little different. You have vehicles that are kind of more your base vehicles like the base and the Big Ben that don't have like a luxury package that you can order. But when you get to the Outer Banks, I look at the Outer Banks and Badlands as your two vehicles that are like your vehicles you can load up. But you can go in two different directions. So if you're one of those that wants, hey, I want all the luxury features, but I'm not going to take it off road. I don't need the Sasquatch or whatever, then you go Outer Banks and add that Lux package, and you're getting leather, you're getting adaptive cruise, you're getting all those features, 360 camera, you're getting all the luxuries in the Outer Banks. So I think that's why Outer Banks is so versatile, because you can get a mid package, which will come standard, but then you can also put the Lux package on there. Now, Badlands, you can do the same thing, come standard with the mid package, and you can also add the Lux package, but the Badlands is made for off-roading. Like, I want a rock crawl. This has got a sway bar disconnect. It's going to come standard with a front and rear locker, and it'll come standard with 33s instead of 32s. So it's more the off-road ready, but you can get the luxury stuff too still with it. So I think those are the two models that if you're looking for a loaded up one that you'd look at between the two. Now, a Heritage Edition, you might think, well, you'd think it would be the loaded up luxury one, but it really isn't. It's standard Sasquatch, but you can't get anything higher than a mid package. You can't add a Lux package to it. So those are the two models if you're looking at like a loaded up. Like a lot of people got the Wild Track last couple of years, because the Wild Track was the most expensive. So in their mind, it was like it is like on a Platinum Expedition or an F-150, where the most expensive vehicle has all the equipment. But that's not what Wild Track was really about. Yes, it did give you the Lux package, and it gave you a Sasquatch and everything else. So a lot of people ordered it over at Badlands, but really you could order a Badlands Lux package and have all the same equipment as the Wild Track, which right now that's how you would, if you want a Wild Track type equipment, you would go Badlands, Sasquatch, and the Haas 3.0, and it's the old Wild Track. So anyway, hopefully that helps you out. That anything can get that Lux package. That's your fully loaded vehicle, right? So.
Yeah. DragonCon says, "Rar, no one told me being a YouTuber would make taxes uber complicated."
Yeah, tell me about it. I got 2 weeks.
So I have the 25 expeditions started to ship. I haven't seen any that have been delivered. So yes, we have started seeing them ship.
They just started shipping, so it's probably going to be about 2 to 3 weeks to start seeing those roll into dealers finally.
Besides where are they located?
Kentucky.
Okay, Kentucky will start.
So you're seeing like you're seeing dealers on the East Coast that are probably going to get theirs first. Like I think ours shipped out last week finally. So yeah, so like for us, we'll probably see our first one in 2 weeks, right? Something like that. So we do get ours a little quicker than we do like the Mavericks.
Yeah,
Mavericks usually it's 4 weeks, but on those it seems like we get Super Duties like. I'll look them up every couple of weeks, and all of a sudden we got one in that I didn't even think was produced yet. So they do come kind of fast there, but
yep.
Anyway.
All right, those were all the questions. Hi, Moon Doggy. All right, he's here. We need to go.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so again, Ford's call on the tariffs, just to kind of finish that thought and everything, because I want to see if anybody else had questions about the tariffs. Is it is daunting. It sounds like it's going to raise prices and everything, and I think at some point it probably will. I know that Ford's saying this point their big take on it, and their answer to everything is that the tariff isn't going to affect them, because most of their vehicles are made in the United States of America, so you don't have to worry about those vehicles that you always depend on, like the F-150 Super Duty, your Bronco Ranger, your Explorer, your Expeditions, all made in the United States. You're the only muscle car left, the Mustang, all made in the United States, that won't be affected by this, although some of the engines will be affected by this, and that's what they're not really talking about. So the question is how they're going to do that. They also are saying that anything that is built outside the United States won't have a price increase and won't be tariffed and sent on to you. So I guess we'll have to see, but that's what they're saying. I do believe they'll price protect. So if you have one in order already that hasn't been built, but the order's in, you should be price protected. So we'll see how that plays out in the next couple weeks and months. But it does look like at least the engines and transmissions, they have one more month to get that production moved to the United States to be, so they won't be affected by the tariffs.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what happens if they have plants that they can shift that production to in the United States, like the 5.0 liter V8, the 7.3 liter Godzilla. Those two motors are made in just over the border in Canada.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they do with those. Your hybrid motor that's in your Maverick, which the vehicle is already made down there. So will they shift that over, as well as will they move the plants that they make the Bronco Sport and Maverick over to the U.S.? That's only time will tell on how that will affect things. I think it'll be hard for them to be able to sustain that long time without having to see a price increase. But maybe one thing I think you could possibly see is normally, like the 25 model year Maverick would be produced into September, October. You may see a short run year because of this. Because if they say, well, you can't raise prices on current model year. Great. You know what? We're done producing the 25 model year. We're moving on to 26 model year. And those are going to have a price increase. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
I guess time will tell. And they won't just stop it right then. They'll give us a date. They're saying, okay, this is the last month for scheduling for production dates for 25 model year, because it's going to stop production on this date. I could see that happening for those vehicles in Mexico. So we'll see.
Yeah.
You know, I see that we might see too with that 5.0 liter Godzilla being made in Canada, and the 5.0 Coyote, and then we have the Godzilla. Those engines, we could possibly see them be more constrained and not be able to produce them, and maybe say that they're going to balance them out for this model year, and maybe you can only get a hybrid in some of those others. But so anyway, interesting times, definitely. We'll see how things go, but I think those that have a Maverick at this point and a Bronco Sport and a mach-e, I don't think you need to be concerned if it's that you're not going to get yours, or you're going to be tariffed or anything else like that. But I think you're going to be all right.
Yeah. We do these live streams weekly, Tuesday nights at 7.
Every Tuesday night at 7. And you can find it in an audio format on our FordVideo.media.com website, or on any of your streaming platforms like Spotify or any of those. So, but yeah. And then, of course, hopefully, Clay, thanks for joining us tonight. And hopefully you're subscribed to the channel for our other videos, because we do have video series Monday night for Mavericks, Wednesday nights for Bronco Sport, and Super Duties on Saturday. So,
and if you're in Clay Como, you're only, what, 2.5, 3 hours away?
Yep. And like I said, we actually are the #1 selling dealer in Kansas now. This is the 3rd month in a row. We just got our numbers. So we are ahead year to date as well. We're beating all the Kansas City, Kansas dealers and Wichita dealers right now. So we are the top selling. We're actually within our zone. There's some dealers in Missouri. And the only dealer that's beating us is Gary Crosley. So I have a mad respect for them and their marketing team there. So they're the only ones that are beating us there in Missouri, but we're beating all the other dealers in our zone. And I don't think the Nebraska dealers are considered in that, because Woodhouse would be beating us if so. But anyway, one of the top 5 in the entire KC region as well. So our goal is top 100 in the country. But because of that, because of our sales volume, we do get a lot of allocations. And then if we always want to look for a retail order. So if you ever want to order a vehicle, we probably can get you scheduled pretty quick. Except for a Ranger Raptor right now. Sorry, Ranger Raptor people. Hopefully that.
We'll go ahead and subscribe over there, Clay. He says his son turned us on.
Yeah. So anyway, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff.
My sons go through YouTube and they go, Papa, Mama. Yeah.
So funny thing. So how we talked about, for those of you that have been watching for a while, we ordered an Expedition trimmer. It was built in February, the week of February 24th, right? Mm-hmm. And it's been on quality hold because of needing to check the qualities, and now they're starting to ship out. So the ones that were built, right, are sitting. Well, the other Expedition I ordered, the Platinum, because we didn't know which way we wanted to go, ordered it a month later. I said, well, great, it's going to come in a month later. Guess what? It shipped out. So I have the Expedition that was built 4 weeks ago, or a month ago, has not shipped yet. It still hasn't shipped. But the expedition that was built this week, it's shipped out. It's on its way here.
I really feel like this is reminiscent of the last time
Right?
you ordered an expedition.
Last time it was set for 4 months, so we'll see. Anyway, or it took 4 months, I guess, to get here. But yeah, so I'm really anxious. I'm hoping that the trimmer gets loaded up on a vehicle. I'd love to see it be here within a couple days, just so we can compare the two and decide.
Yes.
But
well, okay now. Ford likes to push the first few
yeah, but
to every dealer.
Well, these here, and I saw this happen on Friday when we did our member live stream. We talked about this, and we looked up those 4 expeditions that were ordered, and a couple were ones that were on hold, but one of them had just been built and got shipped right out. And I said, "This is going to happen to the Platinum. I know it is." And I think it did get built like last. See, what is it? Does it have the actual production date? It actually got produced on today. It got produced today and got shipped out today. Well, a gate release was today, I guess. It actually got built the 31st. They started building it on the 31st. So they started building it yesterday like they planned. And then it got finished out and it got released, gate released today at 9:30 a.m. and then got received at shipping 9:46 a.m. this morning.
I'm telling you, they are going to push those first few.
And this is a Platinum. So anyway.
I feel like I've seen that before where they're excited to get the new ones out. So let's get the first ones out. Let's go.
I know.
Even though they have no control over the shipping.
Well, last time I was the first one I got built or ordered, first one I got scheduled, first one I got built, and then it sat there and it was like the 10th one that we got. Because all those others got built after mine. Anyway, okay, that's all I have. That's just kind of you just gotta laugh because you just don't know. You have no idea what's gonna happen.
Yep. All right. Did you see the article on Ford Authority? 25 Expedition remote start is late availability. I'm wondering if the early ones are just not going to have that feature.
Okay, so I think I need to read that article because I think they're wrong. So I think what they're talking about is there is the some of the different trim levels had the late availability for that. So let me look this up because I think they're a little misleading on that. They probably watched one of my videos. Because we have talked about this. It's a great question though, because I'm gonna look that up. But mine should have remote start. I think it was certain trim levels, not all of them, that didn't get remote start. So let me look here. In fact, so there was a change to the order guide just recently, but I don't think that was a change because I actually didn't throw that one into that, but no, that one they removed all that stuff. So they're looking at an old order guide. So let's look at the actual first order guide when Expedition came out. Remote start on the active touring edition 202A, King Ranch, and Platinum. So Trimmer was still going to get that. Platinum was supposed to not. They said late availability. But where did they take that off is the question. Because
ChatGPT.
You're right. Still there, and then so when did I order that other one? The question is whether mine will have a remote start. It's still there for that order guide, so it's no longer there. So in February it was still on there with those trim levels. So that means a Platinum may not have it remote start. To be honest, you know how often that we use the remote start on the remote? We use our app almost all the time.
Oh yeah.
Like when I
had one with remote start that had the app availability, that's what I used. So
the order guide from 313 that just got changed mid-month, that one does not have it on there. Okay, so
question.
So somewhere between that time is when it changed. Anything ordered after 313 and on would have remote start.
If it doesn't have remote start, can you start it with the app?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just we're talking the remote start. You can still use the app to remote start it.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying is like that would be kind of like not fun to not have it. But that I would think that is something that once you could do it, you could retrofit it back to it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, guess that would be the question because I should have my window stickers now. I should be able to like pull those up and see,
All right.
if they're going to have the remote start or not. But trimmers will have it. So the trimmer that comes in will have remote start.
Right.
But this other one may not have it, which would be the crazy if it doesn't.
So I know the 25 Maverick Hybrid got bigger electric motor. Was that across all trims, including XL?
Got a bigger. I don't think it got a bigger electric motor.
There's the all-wheel drive
Was that across all
hybrid.
trim levels, including XL? So the hybrid, it's going to be the same hybrid on all trim levels. But I don't believe when you say bigger, like it's not a 2.5 anymore. I don't believe the hybrid motor changed any. Now I got hybrid all-wheel drive, but that I don't think has anything to do with the hybrid motor. We actually like that.
But the hybrid all-wheel drive is across all motors. Is that on XL?
Yes, all models can get, well, not your Lobo and not your trimmer, but all the others, XL, XLT, Lariat can get a hybrid all-wheel drive.
Yes.
Even the XL.
All right. Can your remote start at 25 STX F-150?
Yes. All of them you can do it with the app.
Right. Right, William. The hybrid motor has not changed from 24 to 25. The only thing that has changed is they now have hybrid all-wheel drive. So instead of it just being front-wheel drive hybrid, you can now get all-wheel drive hybrid. That's the only thing that's changed.
Yeah, the motor itself and the electric motor did not change.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm curious whether or not that Platinum's going to have remote start. Thanks. I gotta research that, figure out. Trying to find get the window sticker to pull up. Surprised I didn't get an email from Ford. Should have got an email from Ford. It's been shipped out, right? Oh well. Anyway.
Will my F450 that I ordered from McArthur have a better chance of being scheduled next week for the new month than this week?
Probably. I mean, it probably get a better chance next week, but there's nothing to say it won't. This possibly could get scheduled this week.
There's just no rhyme or reason to this. It's
right.
Whatever they can build, they schedule.
Yeah, because it's what they have available, and these have been the same dates as last week. So I would say you got a better chance. They're probably trying to fill in slots for like the F250, 350, XLT Lariat with the 7.3 and the 6.8 regular cab and super cabs for this week. So be more likely that it's scheduled next week for the most part. But there's always a shot, right?
Yeah.
I always say there's always a chance. Let's put it in there.
Yep.
Right, and we can see. So have me look at the order. If you do go ahead and I say go to our website and build out what you're wanting and submit it with your information and put that you want the YouTube special, because we are doing invoice pricing on all Super Duty orders, including F450s.
Yes.
You will need to put a deposit down, but we are doing that. And if you finance with us, $1,000 off of that. So that is an offer that can save you a lot of money. And there's not a lot of dealerships doing that on their Super Duties because they can't even get them in, can't get them scheduled like we can. But we are one of the top Super Duty dealers in the country for that reason. So anyway, so I would do that. And then let me look at the order and make sure I'll look the order over and make sure we don't have anything that could be a constraint. Now, putting that fifth wheel hitch prep package, that could make it difficult, but I think on a 450 that might be standard. Anyway, I'm not sure, but there we go. All right. Nothing else? Any other questions?
Midcoast Maine says his 22 Lariat has a 94 kilowatt motor, 173 pounds of torque.
The motor, yeah. So you have that combined, but a lot of times you get your total horsepower and torque is because it's using, because to be honest, when it takes off, it's not just using that electric motor.
Right.
It's using that the gas motor teamed with it to get you for you to take off. If you like that there for that to be able to, if you to only use electric, you'd have to take off very slowly, which is, just to use electric. So the electric motor is going to have a certain amount of horsepower and torque, but the gas motor will as well. And combined together is what you would look at to see what it has. And I can't remember those numbers.
Which I suggest get up to speed and then coast.
Yeah, because a lot of people do that is they'll like take off from a stop slow, and so to not use their electric, not use the gas, and just use electric.
All the electric battery.
Exactly. So I used to do that. I have a 6 mile when I had your Fusion that you drive now hybrid. I tried that trick and went off slow and just used the electric motor. And even with the generator braking and stopping at stoplights, I still used all the electric motor, and then it kicked the gas on the entire rest of the way into work. So by mile 4, the last 2 miles was 100% gas, and it really didn't actually save me any. So I just learned to take off, get to speed, let off of the accelerator, and press it slowly to where it let the EcoBoost or the motor, the gas motor, kick off to where I just cruised with the hybrid motor, and then I would brake and generate. I found that worked the best, and then I would actually get here and not have to use any gas when I did it that way. So that was I did a video. I did a video on that, and I think it's
how my husband gets nearly 40 miles per gallon in his 19 Fusion.
And the Fusion, which isn't rated for that.
Nope.
So it was like 30 something back then.
He can get it in my 17 C Max. If he really tries, he can get 40 in my 17 C Max. But he does no air conditioning.
Yeah.
He does no air conditioning.
He's wanting to see those little leaves. He wanted to make a lot of leaves on his tree branch, doesn't he?
He'll go.
Does it still have that?
Yes.
Where it has where you can collect the leaves?
I don't like having anything there because I don't like to see that information to draw my attention. So I
think the Fusion had that too.
So Clay, we don't have a Saturday live stream. It's Tuesday nights at 7.
Yeah. For our members, if you're a member of the channel, then we just have a fun little get together kind of thing on Friday afternoon.
Bounce ideas off of each other.
Yeah, it's just kind of a fun little hangouts, like a hangout session here.
Our members like to chat so much that we take it into another day for them.
Yeah. Right. All right. Okay.
Saturday is Super Duty Saturday. So for Super Duty, he doesn't do a live stream. He just makes a video and publishes it. What time do you aim for that?
Usually 4 or 5.
Okay. About 4 or 5 on Saturdays, he should have a Super Duty Saturday go live. Yep. Those are not live streams like this. He just uploads them and they just play.
Yep.
But you can still ask questions in the comments. For sure. Or write down all your questions and bring them for Tuesday nights.
I'm not 100% sure I'm going to have remote start on my vehicle. On the Platinum.
John said you had a good Farmer Day walk around.
So that is funny so this Platinum may not have, it's not, not all the features are going to be listed, not all the standard features, but remote start is not listed.
Right.
In the standard features.
So someone else said that on their 600, they did not have it on their window sticker. But
they had the feature or what?
So, they didn't have the remote start.
Yeah. So, but there's so much equipment on these that it won't always list it all. So I guess we'll have to see. But yeah, it doesn't look like it's listed there. But to be honest, I can't think of the time that your mom actually just hit the thing and hit the remote because it's in her purse most of the time. So usually she'll just pull her phone out and she'll start.
I do it, but that's only because my app doesn't work with a 17 C Max.
Well, okay. So on the Bronco, I used to use my remote a lot because it would go into deep sleep. And so I couldn't start with my app, but I could start with my remote here at the dealership. I was close enough that I could remote start it. So I would just that's when I use the remote start. Otherwise, I do last night we were sitting there and I think I even had the key in my pocket and I went to the app and I just pushed over and it just waited and it started itself. So we'll probably use the app anyway. And she actually has hers scheduled to start every morning, even on Saturdays and Sunday mornings. She doesn't go out. It's like, You can not have that stuff. That's all right. We'll see. So hopefully, she's not on here yet. But yeah, and you should be able to get like an aftermarket if we needed to. But
You know what I love to do on a cold morning? Lebo demanded having the Fusion because it has more options. Do you know what I like to do because it doesn't have this feature? I like to stand there and click on my remote start.
Mhm.
He's like, all right, I'm going to go start. I'm like, I'll start mine too.
Because it doesn't have that. You'll go out to the vehicle and start it.
Yeah, the Fusion doesn't have remote start.
You can use the app though.
Oh.
You can use the app. I did that. I started it when I had it. So Clay said that it wasn't on the window sticker, but he had it, I think. But I got the remote. I don't know.
No, Lebo's wonderful. He went out and he scrapes off my car for me. He gets up way before I do.
I remote let it run for 15 minutes and that defrosts it.
Well, I wake up on mornings that it snows. I wake up and my car is cleared off. I don't ever have to clear my car off.
Yeah. I didn't think about this, but the one thing you can do on that is you can actually see all the details on everything that's on there, and it'll say whether or not it actually has it. It's called an Oasis. I should pull an Oasis. It doesn't. It was not going to have it probably, but that's all right. So I don't know where the question is going to be on those expeditions, the Platinums, King Ranch, and the Active 202As, whether or not they're going to have when they're going to get the remote start, like when you ordered it and when production started for those remote starts. So that's the question. And we do have a pretty good relationship with the brand manager for the expedition, so I should probably contact him and find out what that date was. But
yes,
yep, there'll be people here watch because we got a lot of expeditions for people that are here that they have expeditions ordered for people that work here at the dealership that are going to get in them, and they're not going to have a remote start because they all ordered Active 202A, and they're probably going to go, "Hey, where's the remote start?" Yeah, it doesn't have it. It's late availability. Anyway, you can still use the app.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I have. It's 9:16. So there we go. All right. Well, if nothing else, got a couple of new people in tonight. So thank you for joining us. Don't forget, make sure you're subscribed, bell notification turned on so you don't miss any of the content that we have. Like I said, we have a lot of videos that go live throughout the week. And I was actually going into that, but we are possibly thinking about, it may not be a weekly thing, of doing a Ford Friday video.
Oh, we are?
And do videos on other models because we've covered the Bronco Sport, the Maverick, the Super Duty. But what about F-150, Expedition, Explorer, some of those others? Because there's some times where I've like, I'd like to do a video on this model. And so we might do those on a Friday as a Ford Friday video series. So
this is new to me.
I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but throwing it out there. So,
Long McArthur is a person's name.
It's two people's.
Oh, yes. So it used to be Long Ford, and then the McArthurs bought it and kept Long in the name, so it's Long McArthur.
Yes. So there's a Long family and a McArthur family that partnered together to start this dealership, and then the Longs sold their half of the dealership.
You know what? Just go watch my podcast with Ashley McArthur. We got into the history of Long McArthur.
So All Women Driven podcast. It's on YouTube.
Episode 2, I believe, with Ashley McArthur.
Yep.
She is the daughter of one of the owners.
Yeah, he actually went into it. But yes, so the McArthurs do have full ownership between the two brothers, and
and then they'll split it between their kids.
Yeah, that's right. So it is a family-owned run dealership, but
in case
it was
you didn't catch on, he's
Long
my dad.
McArthur. So
in case you didn't catch that.
Yeah. All right. That's it.
All right.
Tomorrow's Built Wild Wednesday, and I'm gonna Ford Enthusiast Bronco Sport is going to be the headline, the what do you call it? The model of tomorrow's video. So we'll get it in there and do a video walk around on it before it goes away.
Right.
I won't go do. I was gonna do a test drive, but since you purchased it, we won't go do a test drive on your Bronco because I wanted it. I
wanted to take it through the 9 yards. Like
I wanted to go off road with it. I'll let you do that. So anyway, I'll have to order another one now. So, and I can say, look, that's sold within a week. So we need to order another one.
This one's sold. Of course, we need
that way we can see if it gets affected by the tariffs. All kinds of reasons. Then we'll get stuck with it for like a year. All right. Anyway.
I mean, if the incentives are good enough.
Yep. So the rest of the videos are not live. They're recorded videos, but yes. But yeah. All right.
Ford Enthusiast says you can come on down, take delivery of it, and take him off roading.
We'll do it together. There you
have to
go.
come down here.
It's narrow
now.
enough it could fit in the Tuttle
Oh,
Creek.
he said maybe he can meet you in Tennessee
Ooh.
for Bronco Supercell.
We kind of talked about and joked about that. So because I said something about your mom driving the Bronco Sport and me driving that. She's probably like, what? You promised what?
Well, I said, well, maybe I need to come to Tennessee now.
I wonder if we get one of our transport drivers to drive it to Tennessee and then fly home, Knoxville.
Yeah.
Your mom doesn't want to drive 14 hours.
I will. Lebo and I will.
Fly back.
Well, you have a Bronco with 4 seats.
We'll look into that. We'll dive into that. That could be fun. All right. Anyway. So you can go on Parsons Branch. We'll get some video clips. That'll be fun. Put on like I did with Buck. Yeah. We put the camera on the back of the Bronco in front of him, and so we could see it going through. And then we put some at the side, and we'll have all kinds of fun. All right. Let's keep it going. Anyway. End of night. All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Hope you guys had a great time. And yeah, we need to stay positive about these tariffs, right? Yeah. And while doing that, be kind to one another. And be kind to yourself. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you later.